Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you for the first time this week. So we had the day because of Martin Luther King Jr. And for those who obviously celebrated with a day off, however you celebrated the day off, glad you're back in here with us. Also, I mean, you know, you take a step back and you think about how much better of a place it is. Some of the walls that were turned down in the 60s and the civil rights movement in this country, especially when you look at sports, like, you know, some of the great sports figures of that era helped, you know, segregation get torn away from the public domain, and really is what united us in some ways. Jackie Robinson comes to mind, but there were many other trailblazers on that front. So definitely something to think about as you start this week. But holy smokes, football dominated the NFL playoffs. They're here. It is. I don't know what to say. I don't think many of them were great games this weekend.
They were fun to watch,
but they were fun to watch. Yeah. So a lot decided at halftime in a lot of these matchups, including both games yesterday. I don't think there are any surprises come the fourth quarter who is going to take away the wins between the Steelers and the Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what was the most illuminating thing for you, TD, this weekend? What did you see that really kind of perked your interest?
Wow. There was a number of things, actually. CJ Stroud, incredible. I mean, he's incredible. This is a team that wasn't supposed to be here, was not supposed to make this much of a run. And I'm looking at him thinking, I don't know if anybody's going to stop him right now. Also, the Bills, Josh Allen, he's great. And fun to watch as well. I mean, when the Bills are clicking, they're clicking. The first half Bills look like they should win the whole thing. Second half Bills, I thought they still want to play, right? But I mean, no, I would say those two items.
Yeah. What about you, Fletch? By the way, Fletch, who withstood something this weekend, no man ever should. No football fan, frankly, ever should.
And we haven't discussed it.
And we haven't yet. Okay, so Disneyland took you away from your television on Saturday, and we did our best on the group text not to react to anything we saw on the television. So how did this weekend go for you? How much catching up did you do Sunday morning? And how much did you miss?
The only game I missed in its entirety was Texans-Browns, which I'm bummed about. I mean, the score was so lopsided, but I was kind of glad it was lopsided. But I'm bummed I missed CJ Stroud because it looked like he had a magnificent game. And I watched all the highlights, and unfortunately, the Joe Flacco train ends here. He's not elite. It's over. We could just say that. But I got to watch the majority of the Rams-Lions game, which was by far the best game of the weekend, I would say. I got to watch the majority of the Chiefs-Dolphins game, which had a lot of intrigue just because of how freezing cold it looked. That looked so miserable. But when you talk about biggest takeaway from that, the Chiefs are just fine. Like, from the weekend is what I'm saying. The Chiefs are just fine. The Bills look like they could kill everybody. And the Niners have just been lobbed the cupcakeiest schedule through the NFC that they possibly could have been lobbed.
I don't know about that. I mean, until the Lions, but when you think about who won, the Bucks and the Packers both winning those games, that just opens up the seas, I feel like. Well, they play the Packers now, right?
They play the Packers next.
I think that could be a scary trap game for the Niners.
Look at the history of Niners-Packers games in postseasons.
Okay, I can look at the history. However, I can also look at this current Green Bay Packer team and go, they have figured something out here.
They don't know they're not supposed to be good, which is dangerous.
Right. And Jordan Love is out there playing with confidence and playing well and looking like a superstar. And are you kidding me? Green Bay has found another quarterback that they're going to lock in here for life. I mean, it's incredible. Jordan Love looks amazing. All of the shakiness that we talked about, Jordan Love falling apart in prime time at the beginning of the season, gone by the wayside. This guy is the new elite.
They're just so young. The Green Bay Packers are so young all over the field.
They are. There's no question about it. Here's the biggest problem for the Packers. It has nothing to do with Jordan Love. I think they'll score their points. They'll get him going. It's that defense. That defense is trash. They are completely god awful. Gave up 32 points to the Dallas Cowboys in the victory, but
the defense also won the game for them in the first half. You talk about the pick six and the other interception on Dak. Like, I don't know if that was more Dak losing it or the Packers forcing the hand. It kind of felt more lopsided towards the Dak losing it.
One outing, I agree with you. The defense did help them out in spots, but one outing is not a season.
And the Cowboys are not the Niners.
And the Cowboys are not the Niners. It really is one of those things where I look at that Packers defense as a real problem. I look at Jordan Love as being a sensation. And what's so crazy when you think about it is they went from Favre to Rodgers, and now Jordan Love looks to be great. I mean, think about if you're a Chicago Bears fan waking up on a Monday morning after watching the Packers on Sunday going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's like we're wearing golden handcuffs. Like Justin Fields just good enough that we probably aren't going to move off of him. But then you look around the division and Jared Goff may win a Super Bowl this year. And Jordan Love looks like the future. What the hell is going on here? And then, oh, by the way, the Minnesota Vikings are going to pick 11th in the draft. So maybe they end up with their future quarterback as well with a quarterback heavy draft. But I digress. Focusing on that game, though, the Packers-Cowboys, that may have been the game with the most consequences on the other side of the loss for the Cowboys. Because if you think about it, Mike McCarthy has been on thin ice. There was already some people talking about it after last year's postseason about how McCarthy might get swept off the deck and he might lose his job. Well, this year that drum beat's getting louder. And Jerry Jones, I don't think he did anything to dispel anybody's thoughts that Mike McCarthy might lose his job. So he was asked, and we could play this whole clip, Fletch. It's about 2 minutes. I believe this was the only media that he's taken since that game finished. Here's Jerry Jones answering questions with reporters post-game, and Mike McCarthy came up, Dak Prescott came up. Here's Jerry Jones. Yeah. I'm sure. If you saw the shots of Jerry Jones when he was sitting in the booth, it looked like he was literally saying out loud, as soon as this game ends, I'm going to fire all of y'all. And that includes many of the people down there on the field. That is exactly how this is going to go. Hey, Alfred, could you get the car running? Because I do want to get out of here as soon as this mess is over. I mean, he looked pissed.
There was a point they were down 41-10, I think. I mean, it was not good.
Look, Jerry's a talker, and for him to sound as bewildered as he sounded after that game does not bode well for Mike McCarthy, and it really doesn't bode well for Dak either. And Dak Prescott, look, I defended him a lot leading up to this game because not all of the postseason foibles were his fault. But this game was a stinker, and this is his second stinker in now a 2-5 playoff record as a starting quarterback. I don't give wins and losses to quarterbacks, but a lot of people do, and it gets added to the equation. Like I think wins and losses, it's a team stat, it's a head coaching stat. There's no question about it. Head coaches, you always have a record attached to you. In terms of quarterbacks, I think we distill this game into just quarterback play all the time, and it's not. Look, obviously you need a defense, you need special teams, you need breaks to come your way, you need great offensive line play, you need great play from your linebackers. I mean every single part of the team is important, but Dak Prescott turned in another poor postseason performance.
Yeah.
And it drops his record in the postseason to a place where I'm sure Jerry Jones, if he believes in quarterbacks and their win and loss record in the playoffs being important, it gives him pause.
You know how many playoff wins the Cowboys have had since 2002?
I'm going to say 0.
Four playoff wins.
Since 2002.
2002,
Oh,
So 22 years ago. The reason I say 2002 is that was the Texans' inaugural season. They've had 5 playoff wins.
You know what? It's and a lot of them with Deshaun Watson, oddly, who during that game against the Browns, there was a point where CJ Stroud was, giving his post-game hugs as the teams met at midfield. And there's a picture, a still shot that somebody grabbed off their screen of Deshaun Watson staring daggers through CJ Stroud from like behind the scenes. It was very, very funny.
It's got to be uncomfortable for him. And honestly, CJ Stroud has handled everything so perfectly when it comes to the media, when it comes to the play on the field. He just doesn't look fazed by anything. I mean, think about CJ Stroud missed some games down the stretch here. So he's coming in pretty fresh off of just one game left in the regular season that he played in. And then he gets to the postseason and plays that well against that defense. You can't be less impressed by anything CJ Stroud has done. Yeah. He's incredible. But back to the Cowboys, the Dak Prescott thing, he's looking for a contract extension. There's no way, right?
I mean,
there's no way.
It's tough to say no way. It's tough to say no way because it's the grass is always greener conversation. It's like you always think like you look over at your neighbor's yard and you say, their life is so good. They got the nicer car in the driveway. They got the better lawn. They got the cuter dog. And then you go over there and you realize, oh, no, it's not all perfect. So yeah, I get it. It may seem like, let's move off of Dak because there's some young stars in the draft that maybe we could trade up and go get, or, hey, maybe we could trade for one of these veteran quarterbacks and it'll be better. We'll get away from Dak, or maybe we get off of Dak at some point and we bring in a Kirk Cousins or something like that. The truth is, like, does that make it better? I don't know. I really don't know. I really think what Dallas needs in the worst way, because the last time they really had success was with Jimmy Johnson. They need a head coach.
So you were pretty active on Twitter talking about how Bill Belichick is interviewing with different teams, but you think that the team that is most likely for him is still playing. Was that the Dallas Cowboys or was that the Philadelphia Eagles?
It could be either. Both jobs may be available. Now, I definitely felt like Dallas is, after that game, after those outcomes, I thought Dallas, well, for sure, they'll make a change at head coach. But after the Philadelphia Eagles game last night, my goodness, the way Eagles fans woke up feeling this morning. Ooh. And then also some of what we heard post-game from the reporters who pulled no punches with Nick Sirianni. He was asked, and actually we'll play that sound here in just a moment. Oh, man, it looks like Sirianni could be next out.
So now let's talk about the Eagles, because you say the Dallas game might be the most consequential for what's going to happen here over the next couple of days. But when you look at the Eagles, Jason Kelsey, told his teammates and coaches that he's retiring after last night. So that's one of the best centers in football, one of the linchpins of this team who's going to be gone. Not to mention their free agents who are going to be coming up this season. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, DeAndre Swift, Quez Watkins, who's a young wide receiver, a guard, Opeda, I don't know, linebacker Nicholas Morrow, linebacker Zach Cunningham, linebacker Shaquille Leonard, cornerback Bradley Roby, wide receiver Zach Adeas, Boston Scott, Marcus Mariota, Julio Jones, Jack Driscoll, Rashad Penny, Brandon, the list goes on and on. They have so much to replace going into next season. This is going to be a completely different look Eagles team, and you got to wonder, how do they keep this together? And was last year their best shot to win a Super Bowl?
A lot of the names you mentioned are inconsequential. The ones that aren't are Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, because of the leadership.
I'd say DeAndre Swift also. He had a hell of a year.
He had a hell of a year, but running backs are replaceable. I don't waste my time talking about running backs. I'm so tired of that storyline. They're replaceable. But those first three that you mentioned are 100% like the thumping heart of this whole team.
And you don't know what Lane Johnson's going to do. Is he going to follow his buddy into retirement?
It's very possible Lane Johnson's done also.
If Bill Belichick said, "Hey, I want to go coach the Eagles," is that some glue that holds it all together?
Well, Kelsey, I mean,
Kelsey
could change his mind.
Yeah.
I
doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. I think he's probably done. I think that players can be very emotional though after losses, hard losses. And just because he said it, I'm not saying it isn't true. That guy does seem like a guy who, but I mean, think about Favre, think about Brady, think about, I mean, there's Rodgers was mulling retirement before he was traded to the Jets. You know, there's so many great players who are ready to go, and then they change their mind. So it's possible that he has a change of heart at some point this offseason. And maybe it has something to do with like a fresh step in a new direction with a new head coach. Who knows?
And I think losing 6 of their last 7 also adds to that. Like, that's a tough last 7-game stretch for the Eagles, who really just like they're not a 12-win team this season, which is kind of wild to think because they started 10-1. Dude, they couldn't get 2 more wins.
It's nuts. It's nuts when you think about how the Eagles finished this season. I mean,
and it's not like there was some big dramatic injury that they were missing AJ Brown in this game, and there's question marks about that too. How hurt was he really?
I needed one win.
You needed one
win from the
both
last
of you did.
6
If
games.
the Eagles would have won one game over the last 6, I would have been solely eating that chip.
Yeah. So
stupid.
The Pocky One Chip Challenge. It's going to happen tomorrow.
Oh, God.
We have a doctor coming on the show today. His name's Dr. Chow. Now, he's an orthopedic surgeon, but maybe he could give us a little bit of advice on exactly how dangerous this is, what dangers we may incur on our path. But yeah, not looking forward to that tomorrow at all, paying off the season-long win total bet.
No, I was laughing about it until today on the right end, and I thought, oh, God, we have to do this tomorrow?
We got to talk about strategy, too. Like, do you just eat it as fast as possible and then just accept whatever consequences are coming? Do you slow play it and just go one?
Well, I don't think you have a choice but to chew it up.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not going to swallow this chip whole.
Well, and also, you have to just eat it. Yeah, I mean, like, you can't just take nibbles at it over a 10-minute period.
Right, but do you snap it in half and do you like do little mini chips?
I don't think so, because you got a short window before it heats up.
I don't want any on my lips, and I have a small mouth. I don't want any of it touching the outer rim. You know what I mean?
It's impossible. It's impossible for it not to get on your lips a little bit. I did this one time, but again, I did it with like a stale old chip. I have no idea if like it was as spicy as it would have been if it were fresh.
What year chip was it?
So it was 2 years old.
But it was like a 2019?
The 2019 chip that you ate in 2021.
Yeah. So it wasn't fresh.
We can watch the film on it. I have it all on video.
Yeah, I hope.
Was it hard to breathe?
No,
he hiccuped pretty immediately.
I did hiccup a lot though.
When I eat spicy things, I feel like it's hard for me to breathe. And on the back of this thing, it says, do not eat if you're sensitive to spicy foods. Let's see, not for
but
keep out of reach
everyone
of children.
Hold on. Is sensitive to spicy
seek
food.
medical assistance should you experience difficulty breathing.
Oh, we should have a nurse come in.
We should just have Doc come in tomorrow.
Or Doc Chow. Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense. Dr. David Chow.
I'm sure he has nothing going on.
Well, what I got for everybody is a couple pairs of tickets. We have Aztecs taking on Nevada tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. That's going to be an 8 p.m. tip-off. So we are going to give away a pair of tickets to that game. Tickets and info available at goaztecs.com, but also a pair of Chris Stapleton tickets. That's a March show over at Petco Park. Tickets and info at livenation.com. But keep listening for your chance to win those tickets. We haven't yet decided how we're going to give away the Stapleton tickets. So be listening for the way to win those Stapleton tickets. That's a huge, huge show.
They're also crazy expensive tickets, the ones that are still available. I looked this morning, so you're going to want to win them.
Oh, yeah. These are ones you want to win. There's no question about it. Okay, so over the weekend, Texans beat the Browns. Chiefs beat the Dolphins. We just talked about it at length. The Cowboys beat the Packers. Rams get bested by the Lions. That was a close game, one of the only close games of the weekend. Steelers fall to the Bills. And last night, Bucks take care of business against the Eagles. So the division round is set. We'll get to that in a little while, but I want to get to this quick soundbite. of Nick Sirianni. So the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, who went all the way to the Super Bowl last season. Jalen Hurts, inarguably the best player on the field in that Super Bowl. So you look forward, you project out to the 2023 season, and you say, wow, the Eagles, man, as long as they don't lose anybody, this team's ready to rock. And at one point, like we mentioned, 10-1 football team really skidded to a halt, though, to finish up the season, and then ran into the buzzsaw that was the Bucs last night. So Nick Sirianni was asked about his future at the podium. Here's what he said.
He should be probably worried about him. I'm just saying. Would say things are not great there in Philadelphia. And I mean, look, I would be upset too if I'm out in Philadelphia. If I'm a Philadelphia fan, this team should have been much better. This team shouldn't have been so much different than last year. But Fletch, you brought it up earlier of, was their best chance last year? Sure looks like it. They've been on the decline for almost 2 months. Now, 2 months we've been watching the Eagles just unravel.
And last year they looked like such a powerhouse, right? Where teams couldn't even be on the same field as them because it seemed like they were stronger, faster, and better than every single team they went up against. This year, they just looked beatable from the get.
Well, the Eagles last year looked like there was no way they were going to lose a game. Or at least they were gonna fight all the way to the end. The Eagles this year look like if they got down by more than a score, game was over.
Yeah. Losing 6 of your last 7, like that's a bad football team. That is a mark of a bad football team.
I made the comparison, and really not the comparison. It was more of like an early warning that the San Diego State Aztecs don't want to turn into the Philadelphia Eagles.
I hate this take so much.
Well, you can hate it or not. We have no idea what the Aztecs are going to be this season. And very similar to how the Eagles started their season, when you win a lot of close games and your record says you're a good team, it doesn't always mean that you're a good team, because the reality is wins and losses don't tell the whole story. And so as soon as the Philadelphia Eagles got to the postseason, they got bounced. And now I look at the Aztecs and I say, well, they have their whole season in front of them. And I'm talking about the men's basketball team for anybody confused. They have their whole season in front of them, and they could end up having a tremendous conference schedule and do great things this season. The comparison that's more apt actually with the Eagles is another one that's in San Diego. It's the Padres. It's the Padres.
Yep,
because
I agree.
The Padres in 22 went to the NLCS. The Padres in 22 had this incredible run. And the Padres in 2023 were a disappointment. And really, if the Padres had made the postseason in 2023 and got bounced in the first round, I think we would all still look at them the same way. Now, the Eagles, their issue is, look, I mean, they made it to the postseason, but it was after a late season collapse.
And they made it to the postseason with other teams losing that helped them get into the postseason. So, I mean, they should have, or they could have won the entire NFC, but they just completely fell apart.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to tell you how to win those Chris Stapleton tickets. And then also this storyline, 2 stars were born this weekend. 2 stars were reignited this past weekend. We'll explain that. But first, TD.
Yeah, man. We talked about a lot of the games, not real close. However, every single game I was invested in because of DraftKings. Yeah, I had done my picks. That way I had a little skin in the game here. So every time I was watching somebody do something, I was leaning on it. I needed it to happen. And not going to lie, Saturday I lost a little money, but no big deal, because I got $100 back in Pick 6 credits because I didn't win. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, just dropped a brand new way to play fantasy football with Pick 6, and new customers can make their first NFL picks and get $100 back in Pick 6 credits if they don't win. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and sign up with code SD760. New customers can get up to $100 back in Pick 6 credits if your first football pick set doesn't win. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code SD760. XD760. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $100 equal to amount of negative number issued in non-withdrawable pick six credits. Valid for pick six use only. Expire after 1 year. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Valid only in states where DraftKings Pick Six operate. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com. This weekend, we saw 2 stars born and 2 stars reborn. We'll explain next.
This update is presented by Progressive Insurance. Super Wildcard Weekend in the books. Let's check out how the divisional round will look here on Saturday. Texans are heading to Baltimore. They got the 1 seed Ravens at 1:30. Then the Packers, after beating the Cowboys on the road, they're traveling to Santa Clara. They got the Niners at 5:30 Saturday. Sunday, the Lions are going to host the Bucs in Detroit in the early game. Chiefs are going to travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. How do you think Taylor Swift is going to react to a shirtless man jumping into a flaming table? We'll see. Sticking with the NFL, after the Eagles lose to the Bucs last night, it's being reported that Jason Kelce told teammates in the locker room he will be retiring. Kelce, thought to be the best center in football over the last handful of years. He's 36. He played 13 years in the league, is an all-pro again this year. And in the NBA, Lakers got a much-needed win last night over the Thunder, 112-105. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial Insurance makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. We got to go to this show.
I know. I just wanted to play out. God dang, he's good, man. Chris Stapleton. We got a pair of tickets that we are giving away, and he's going to be at Petco Park Saturday, March 2nd.
Oh, don't call now.
Don't call now. No, don't call now. We're going to be giving away a little bit later. Look, if you want to try to buy tickets, livenation.com is where you go, or just keep it locked in here because we're going to tell you how to win them shortly. We also have a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on Nevada tomorrow night, Viejas Arena, 8 o'clock tip, 7 o'clock pregame coverage live from Viejas Arena. You can hear that here on San Diego Sports 760. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Did you watch any of the Emmys at all last night?
Hell no.
Yeah,
what?
I forgot.
Even people at the Emmys weren't watching the Emmys.
I forgot they were on.
I saw a video of Rob McElhenney, who writes and directs Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He was watching the Eagles game on his phone during the Emmys.
Well, I didn't even know it was on until this morning. I'm like, oh, I guess the Emmys were last night. And Better Call Saul had 53 nominations, 0 wins. That
show is still on?
No, it's all wrapped up. But I guess
good?
You didn't see Better Call Saul?
No, I love Breaking Bad. I didn't even give Better Call Saul a chance.
I loved Better Call Saul.
Really?
Loved it. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. In fact, I liked it better than Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad's like the best show ever. I did see that the Bear on Hulu won a bunch of awards, which good for them. That's an awesome show.
Yeah. Also, what's the guy's name? The lead character, lead role
in the Bear.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Whatever his name is, he also does Calvin Klein ads, and he has like a 12-pack. And so as he was sitting down, people were freaking out because he did not have an undershirt on, and his dress shirt was peeking open so you could see the ripped ads. It looked a lot like Rich there.
He got super jacked for the Iron Claw movie.
Oh,
the wrestler one.
Which actually, I'm kind of in.
I want to see that.
I want to see the movie.
Even though Zac Efron looks heartbreaking, it's supposed to be great.
What the wrestler movie?
Yeah, the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
About what's it, Von Drost brothers?
Yeah, something like that. It does look compelling though, and I like those actors, so I think it. Well, did anybody watch the Emmys at all?
No. Yeah. We were just saying, like, even people at the Emmys were watching football on their phones.
I didn't know they were on until this morning.
I said the same thing. I went over to do a hit on Kogo News and talk about the football weekend, and I look up and one of the screens says 75th Emmys last night. I was like, why? Really?
Dude, why would they schedule on the night of a wild card weekend game? Like, why would you not schedule that for tonight?
Yeah.
When nothing else is on TV.
Dolphins Chiefs. It was streaming only, Peacock only. There was a lot of outrage over this. Were you guys upset at this at all?
No, I have Peacock.
Yeah,
I do.
But even though you have Peacock, did you feel like that's a little weird?
No, I honestly had no issue with it, but I'm 27 years old. I'm of the generation where this is totally acceptable. Now, I will say they had some issues on Peacock. I don't know if it was just where I was at. I was watching at Kendall's stepdad's house. There was a lot of buffering going on, and that seemed to be a similar complaint across the internet for that game.
There was one point that the audio didn't sync up at my house, but I didn't notice a lot of buffering. But I wasn't there staring at it continuously, so that may have been.
It was like the screen would just go real blurry for about 30 seconds, and then it would go back to HD.
It did. That did happen. And I thought, what's wrong with my internet?
Yeah.
But I look, I understand the complaint that this is a streaming only game of people were upset by it, because I mean, that's not how these playoff games have ever been.
23 million people watched, so they found it.
Yeah.
You know, and if 11 million of those had to pay $7 to watch the game, whatever.
Yeah, listen to this.
Okay.
They supposedly have around 30 million subscribers and an audience of 23 million that stream that game. I'm trying to find like exactly how many subscribers they gained from having it on Peacock. But the reality of the situation is, I don't think it was all that big of a bother. It was $5 a month, or you could sign up for like a free trial month.
You know who's bothered by it mostly is restaurants.
Yeah, I could
like
see
restaurants
that.
and bars who had the place full, and they're like, we don't subscribe to Peacock, so
Yeah,
sorry.
You can easily do that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, why would a bar not just pay $7?
Yeah.
Well, I saw the platform formerly known as Twitter lighting up of people angry that they were being forced to pay for a monthly service to see a playoff game that is not typically something you have to pay for because it's on broadcast television. But hey, look, it's the NFL; they're there to make money. That's the point. But I mean, for $5 or $7 or whatever you had to pay for the game, I don't know if it was that great of a game. I don't know if it was worth $7.
Dude, it was just for the look of it. Like, that's what I thought was most compelling about that game. Like, the Chiefs played really well, and it seems like a lot of their issues have kind of shored up. But the look of the pregame show when Collinsworth Kid was on the field punching the ground because it was frozen solid.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff was what was intriguing to me.
Did you see the beers and sodas that were just popping?
So there's a Dolphins fan, poor guy in the crowd. It was after the game was over. He was like, at least I can drink a beer even though my Dolphins lost. And he looked down and the beer was like exploded all the way up.
Yeah, anything that, like, they took a water bottle out of a fridge at Arrowhead and just like smacked it on their hand, and then the whole bottle froze over.
That's cool,
because it was actually much colder outside than it was inside of the refrigerator where the water bottle was. The water bottle was actually warming it up to a nice 36 degrees. Outside temperature was like -7, and then with the wind chill, it got even colder than that. Mahomes' helmet broke, and that caused
that was incredible.
Yeah, what
he was so ticked off about it.
Yeah,
like first of all, how did he not go into the blue medical tent after having his helmet literally shattered?
It wasn't that hard of a hit. If you looked at the hit, like, I realized like you're concentrating on the aftermath.
There was a couple questionable quarterback concussions that didn't get pulled out of games. Yeah. I thought that was one of them. I thought Stafford, we literally watched his eyes roll to the back of his head, and he goes in and they're like, oh yeah, he's fine.
Mahomes didn't look concussed, but Stafford did. Stafford looked like he was like marveling at the stadium lights at Ford Field. Like,
you saw the white of his eyes when they rolled back. It looked like a UFC knockout.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, not good at all. No, Mahomes didn't look concussed at all to me. If you would have tapped that frozen helmet onto the ground the right way, it would have cracked.
Yeah, it just kind of, well, and also he was pissed because nobody wants to replace their helmet. That's a pain in the ass. And also, you like playing in your helmet.
And he said the other helmet was literally frozen when he tried to put it on.
Worse.
And so it was awful.
The worst. Like, they have those like helmet warmers on the sideline, but nobody's thinking like, oh, we're gonna have to replace Mahomes' helmet sometime tonight. So he probably put on a rock hard, ice cold helmet, which sucks.
So I thought it was a really good tease. 2 stars were born, 2 stars ignited. What did you say? It was really good.
2 stars were born this weekend and 2 stars reignited. So you look at CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, who had nearly identical performances. 272 for Love, 274 for Stroud. Both of them, I believe it was 16 of 21, both with 3 passing touchdowns. Unbelievable nights for them both. But then you look at Jared Goff. Then you look at Baker Mayfield. Those are 2 former stars, 2 former first overall picks who have really kind of been scrap heaped and then had this rejuvenation in the cities, Detroit, Tampa Bay, both. Unbelievable games for those 2.
It's kind of funny when you think back to Baker Mayfield signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He signed with them not to be the starter for the entire year. If you remember that contract, it's super laden with incentives. It was like he had to play in a majority of the games to even get a little bit of money. And then as the postseason goes on, he's going to be earning more money. But Baker Mayfield got brought in to start a few games while they got Kyle Trask ready. He outplayed Kyle Trask every step of the way. Now, that might not have been that hard. The Bucs might have looked at Kyle Trask and just said he's not ready to go. But Baker gave them zero excuse to bench him the entire season. He led the Bucs extremely well. And Collinsworth was talking about it on the broadcast last night about how the leadership has been the most impressive thing when you talk to the coaches in Tampa Bay, that this has been Baker's team since day one he stepped in.
You ever watch like Dirty Jobs or Man versus Food? So Baker Mayfield to me looks like a Discovery Channel host who has been sent to do somebody else's job. Like they just started a new show called In Your Shoes. And 2 weeks ago, he was a rodeo clown. And 1 week ago, he was a train conductor. And this week, they're like, we're going to have you be an NFL quarterback. And
like
somehow
the Keanu Reeves movie, The Comeback.
Yeah, like somehow he's really good at it. And he looks like he's having fun out on the field. He looks like he's firing everybody up. He's always smiling. And he looks at the camera like, this is so great. This is unbelievable. And somehow each week I'm rooting for the guy.
Well, it's hard not to because of his start in the league. You think about, he's had 8 head coaches over the course of his career. 8. He hasn't been in the league all that long. Yeah, you think about Baker Mayfield as a first overall pick. Now, granted, first overall picks go to, absolutely awful teams, and they go to the Browns usually. And Cleveland, holy smokes, did they mishandle him? And then, he played for 3 teams last year. It's been kind of a messy start to his career, but Baker Mayfield was a baller in college, just because of how it's worked out at the NFL level. And he had a postseason win under his belt before he got the win last night. So it's not like this was completely unforeseen, but man, he was amazing at Oklahoma. And that's the reason why he was a first overall pick. And he is that kind of scrappy chip on the shoulder performer. So I don't know if I'm necessarily completely surprised at what happened, but it's nice to see. It's absolutely awesome to see, in fact.
Oh,
and
I agree.
I think it makes the NFL better.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun. And you have these storylines, these sports storylines that if it were a movie, you'd be like, okay, a little corny, but it's not. It's real life. So it's cool.
Yeah. Now, the question is, do you think that Baker can lead the Bucs to an NFC Championship game? They got the Lions after an extremely emotional win over the Rams. I thought that was the best game of the weekend by far. But the emotion from that Lions crowd, whether it was booing Stafford, which I thought was Bush League, but the cheers and the cries and literal tears streaming down from every single face at that stadium after the game, the Lions feel like they're on a warpath now, and they may murder the Bucs in that early window game on Sunday.
I never look at when a fan base jeers or boos as like,
I thought it was Bush League, man.
I'm never bothered.
What? Why?
Because Matthew Stafford gave everything to that city.
Who cares?
And it's not his fault that he went to Los Angeles.
Bye.
The Lions traded him.
See ya.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought it was terrible.
No.
Later.
I'm 100% fine with it. The only time I ever complained about a fan base booing ever was what they did to Andrew Luck when his retirement was leaked in the final preseason of the Colts, the year that he retired, and that entire Lucas Oil Stadium in concert booed their starting quarterback.
That was also Bush
retiring because his body was broken down. That was awful. But I mean, if you're gonna boo a guy who left your city, even if he was traded away, like who cares? I mean, it's football. I mean,
I thought it was crap because you know how meaningful that was for Matthew Stafford.
I am pulling for Detroit in every well, gosh, man. Detroit and the Texans, I feel like are where my heart goes this
Imagine
postseason.
that Super Bowl matchup. Like, where the hell did this come from? The Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans?
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. We'll take a look. We'll take a peek as to exactly how possible it is. We have the divisional round set in the NFL, so we'll give a look at that. But that was a funny comparison. So Baker Mayfield is the Mike Rowe of the NFL. Dirty job. And Mike Rowe, even though he was an opera singer, he's kind of a man's man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was an opera singer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's it. His background was in opera.
And he does all kinds of voiceover.
Oh, yeah. He's got that deep voice, the deadliest cat.
He's so good.
Listen, if you're a man's man, or maybe if you're like somebody who used to be and you're trying to get back on track, I have some good news for you. You got to get out to Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, right? The Man Zone, okay? The Man Zone with Dr. Roy David, double board certified plastic surgeon, one of the biggest names in plastic surgery around San Diego, has gotten into testosterone replacement therapy. And thank goodness he did, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't know that I was on a bad path. So I went into the Man Zone over at Golden Triangle, and I had my testosterone checked. And it was kind of on a lark. It was because a former teammate of mine who I played in the NFL with said that he was on testosterone replacement therapy. And my first question was, why? Like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, because I was low. I was like, well, how did you find out that? He's like, well, idiot, I got tested. I was like, oh, got it. Right. Yeah. But he's in his late 30s. And I'm thinking to myself, he's younger than me. He's a year younger than me. And I'm thinking like, well, there's no way I'm in danger. No, he's just got something wrong with him. And, you start like telling these myths to yourself. I go in and get tested. There's a range. It's from 300 to 1,000. And I was in the low 300s. So I had low testosterone. And I didn't even know it. And so I went in, I started to talk to Dr. Roy David after he did the testing about treatment options. And I said, hey, like what will this do if I get it fixed? And he was like, well, you're going to feel noticeable differences in your energy levels, in your enthusiasm about working out, in all aspects of your life. As a man, you need testosterone to feel better. And he was 100% right. I got on low dose T and it's changed my life completely. I mean, I feel great waking up every single day. I have more energy than I've had in years. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. It's amazing. So all those things that my buddy was telling me about came true for me as well. So if you're in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, I suggest to everybody out there listening to the sound of my voice, you should get tested annually for low testosterone. But if you're in your late 30s like I am, it's not too early to get out to the Man Zone, themanzone.com. Book your first and your free consultation. Talk to Dr. Roy David. Get yourself tested and go see the results that you could have if you find out you have low T. That's themanzone.com, themanzone.com. Hey, it's Rich here for SDFatLoss.com. All right, so you've heard us talk about this a ton on this show. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch are huge fans of SDFatLoss.com. Why? Well, we've lost damn near 120 pounds cumulatively. Like, if you think about that, we lost an adult human's worth of weight between the three of us. That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's embarrassing a little bit, but it's really great because we've unburdened ourselves, and so can you. Look, a lot of people. Fletch just walked in with his shirt off. Dude, he's flexing.
I had my head down. I looked up and it's nude Fletch.
Yeah, just man nipples.
I mean, God, it looks good, though.
It looks really good.
I mean, trim.
The guy has lost, I mean, Fletch alone has lost like the weight of like a kindergartner. He's lost like 50 pounds. It's unbelievable. Me and TD are down over 30 pounds. It's just been a fun ride with Wayne and Chloe over at SDFatLoss.com.
But not just down over 30 pounds, keeping the 30 pounds off.
Keeping it off. And the reason why is because you go through a reduction phase and then they help you maintain your weight loss. Super important for anybody who's ever yo-yo dieted. And you know what I mean if you've been through it. You lose a ton of weight because, I don't know, maybe you were prescribed some like fad medication that's being used off label for weight loss. You lose a ton of weight. It suppresses your appetite. You gain all the pounds back. And it stinks. And, you know, I mean, maybe you've tried all of the fad diets too, and nothing's worked, nothing's stuck. Well, this sticks. This is awesome. In fact, we've heard from a lot of our listeners. I get a DM probably once a week from one of our listeners who's been doing SD fat loss alongside of us, and it's worked for them as well. So if you're looking at the new year and you're saying, hey, it's time, got to lose some pounds, SDFatLoss.com is who helped us, and they absolutely can help you. Reach out to them today. That's SDFatLoss.com, SDFatLoss.com. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, that's awesome. Keep doing it and share a link with a friend. Best way to support the show. If you've never tried the free iHeartRadio app, you should download it today. It is the best place for music and podcasts. We got our divisional round set. Houston at Baltimore, KC at Buffalo. On the NFC side, Tampa Bay visits Detroit. Green Bay Packers taking on Fletch's 49ers. Okay, so Fletch aside, because we know which game he's concentrating on the most.
What about Fletch's side?
Dude, the Packers 49ers game, I know you've got, you know, we know exactly.
Father-in-law's a diehard Packers fan.
Oh,
you know me.
You're all over.
This is gonna be a family beatdown.
TD, what's the game you're looking for?
You know what? I mean, I'm interested in Tampa and Detroit because I'd like to see Detroit win that one, but Houston, Baltimore, I think could be interesting. God, KC Buffalo could be interesting. KC finally going to the away game out in Buffalo. There could be some fun games.
Patrick Mahomes' first non-Super Bowl postseason game he will ever play on the road.
That's right.
And Buffalo's environment the other night was insane.
Right. They should always have snow there to throw.
And they should always have no assigned seats, because did you see the bleacher creatures that were in the front row of that game?
They were maniacs.
Because they were the ones who got there early and were elbowing their way through everyone to get to the front row.
There are 3 out of 4 games here that I feel like could go either way.
I agree.
What's the one that you don't think can go either way?
I don't even know if it's on TV. Green Bay and San Francisco.
Are they airing that one?
Saturday night primetime, baby.
You know, it'd be great that the Packers just come in and roll the Niners. Brock Purdy's elbow gets hurt.
Yeah,
everything falls apart.
But it gets hurt like throwing a snowball or something crazy. Like, no, he's gonna be fine.
He slips on the way to the field.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
All right, we'll get back to the divisional round in just a little bit, plus morning monologues and some coaching corner updates. Oh my gosh, a lot of interviews happening over the course of this weekend.
And Chris Stapleton tickets.
Oh, yeah. So stick around for the 7 o'clock hour, because you're going to find out exactly how to win those Stapleton tickets. We also have a pair of Aztecs tickets as well. Before we scram, though, I want to talk to you about my feet. These arch supports are working wonders for me. The Good Feet store has been an incredible finding. We went out there 2 years ago, the 3 of us, to Mission Valley, and got fitted for these arch supports, and I've been wearing them ever since, and my low back feels great. Finished my NFL career with a lot of pain in my lower back, my knees, my right hip was really starting to go. In fact, I was scheduling an MRI before I got myself at the Good Feet store and got right with these arch supports. It takes away a lot of your lower body joint pain. That's how it worked for me. Get yourself a free fitting and a free test walk at the Good Feet store. Tons of locations around you. Just find one at at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com.
This update presented by Progressive Insurance. It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Super Wild Card weekend in the books. Let's check out how the divisional round looks here on Saturday. Texans going to be going to Baltimore. They got the Ravens at 1:30. Packers, after beating the Cowboys on the road, they're going to Santa Clara. They got the San Francisco 49ers at 5:30 on Sunday. Lions going to host the Bucks in Detroit, and the Chiefs are going to travel to Buffalo. They got the Bills. Sticking with the NFL, after the Eagles lose to the Bucks last night, it's being reported that Jason Kelce told teammates and coaches in the locker room that he will be retiring. And in the NBA, Lakers got a much-needed win last night over the Thunder, 112-105. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. This is huge. We have Chris Stapleton tickets. So Chris Stapleton coming in March, livenation.com if you want more information or ticket availability. We've got a pair to give away, and these are going to be spendy tickets, so you're going to want to win them. We're not giving them away yet. I see some people already dialing in. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a code word. That's coming up sometime in the 7 o'clock hour. We're giving away a code word, and then the tickets will become available in the 8 o'clock hour. Does that sound good, boys?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then, okay. Yeah, I like that.
What else?
No. I was going to say in the 8 o'clock hour, if you didn't get the code word, if you subscribe or start following us, maybe we can DM them the code word for new followers.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Too.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to follow us on Instagram, Big Rich TD Fletch, or Twitter or TikTok. Big Rich TD Fletch is where you follow us on all social media. We've been posting a ton of stuff. It's active this time of year. You have NFL postseason. You know, basketball and hockey's going. I don't think anybody's paying attention much to that yet.
What do you call it? UFC is about to catch fire.
UFC is going to be
over the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks. They got some wild cards, and people care so much about it. Not named me.
Wow,
you're damn right.
Yeah.
Also, golf is about to take off. We got Torrey Pines coming up.
Yeah,
Masters is just a couple months away.
Did we not get invited out to the?
I don't think we got invited to the media.
The spectacular.
That's wild because last year we had so much fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, the Farmers Insurance Open is coming to Torrey Pines again, and usually the media gets an early look at the course, and
I think the media did.
Yeah.
What?
I just don't think we were included, which is fine.
Did anyone from San Diego Sports 760 get the call, or did we get everybody banned?
Well, last year Darren got the call and he forwarded it along to us. So maybe this year Darren got the call again and just didn't forward it.
It's possible. That actually sounds likely.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's a little sad.
Yeah. That actually sounds likely. Like just like, you know what? Yeah, we're probably gonna sit this one out. Just
or
make the
maybe
decision
what I
for
saw
the whole
was
station.
something different, and the official media thing hasn't happened yet, and we will still get invited. I don't know.
You are a fount of misinformation, so this would not be shocking if
I
you
did
had this
see
wrong.
some local media members in San Diego playing Torrey Pines recently, and it looked all set up and everything.
Oh boy, here we go. So
Wait, when is the Farmers Insurance Open?
It's coming up. It's in the next handful of weeks.
I don't think it's until February.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we were out there about 10 days beforehand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fletch is wrong here.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good.
Which is
good.
Par for the course. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Well, I guess it's happening. January 24th to 27th. So maybe it has
Found the
happened.
misinformation. I'm such a
Wow.
So we have our morning monologues coming up here in just a few minutes.
Mhm.
We also have a lot of coaching changes coming up in the NFL, specifically a gentleman by the name maybe rhymes with Smellichek.
Yeah,
might be interviewing around the NFL here this week.
Now, you tweeted out that you thought that Bill Belichick's future team is still playing.
Yeah.
And that was prior to this weekend. What team is in your head of where Bill Belichick could be heading?
Well, I'll tell you what, after last night, it may have changed slightly. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but let's do it. Let's hit it.
Friday.
Well, I mean, maybe we were like really interested in talking yesterday, and we couldn't, because we were off.
That's right.
I was asleep on the couch. Travis was building something in his living room. Rich was drinking spicy margaritas on the beach.
Oh, that was true.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good picture.
That was yesterday.
And all weekend long, I was building something in my living room.
That's great. All day yesterday, I was asleep on the couch.
From the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it almost done?
No. Nah. I mean, it's probably 2/3.
You're kind of installing like a faux fireplace kind of deal.
Fireplace, some bookshelves. Yeah, deal for the TV.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Mine has nothing to do with sports here, so I'll lead us off if that's all right with everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. Whoa. Was mine supposed to have something to do with sports?
Adjacent.
Okay. Good. Go ahead.
So Brock the dog is getting his balls chopped today.
Okay.
And I guess I have a lot of questions going into it. So texters, if you want to text 70470, start your message with team. But my monologue goes a little something like this. If this were humans and this was something that we had to do, the world would fall into chaos, right? Because I think about my family jewels and how much I appreciate them and glad that they're on my body. And it's just something so callous that we do with dogs. It's like when you sign up to adopt a dog, usually there's some sort of clause in there that you sign you will get them neutered or spayed. And that's what we had to do. And that's why we're doing it today. But I feel really bad for it when you humanize this whole thing, because I treat Brock like a little human. And now I'm just taking him to have something so important to him removed. It feels gross. It feels dirty. I don't like that we do it.
So as humans, would you take yourself in to get spayed or neutered?
I don't know.
Or do you have...
And is that what a vasectomy is? But a vasectomy doesn't come with missing parts afterwards.
Well, no, it's not a vasectomy, because a vasectomy, you don't lose your balls.
Yeah, this is closer to a castration.
I feel really bad about this in my head. And in my heart, I think it's wrong that I'm going to get this done.
Well, I guess this may not make you feel better, but I have a hard time. Look here. We kill animals to eat them
all the time, like every day.
I mean, we just decided randomly, like, no, dogs are too cute. You know what I mean? But like cows, sheep, pigs. I mean,
arguably more intelligent than any animal that walks the earth.
100% pigs are more intelligent than dogs,
not including humans.
Okay.
I don't know. I know a lot of humans that are dumber than pigs.
And by the way,
a lot of pigs,
and all dogs are dumber than pigs. But we have no problem eating bacon. So I never had a problem with this whole thought.
Neither did I. For the majority of my life, I had no issue. But I love this dog so much. And I'm just taking him in and I'm just dropping him off at a place. And then when I pick him up 4 or 5 hours later, the part of him is going to be gone. And he's going to be looking at me like, Dad, what the hell did you just make me do? And in my heart, it feels wrong. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that he'll hate you forever.
Yeah. He will never forget this day. You will rue the day that you took Brock's testicles. My morning monologue is this. The NFL has the best mousetrap in the game. So these weren't particularly competitive games in the wild card round. And look at the viewership ratings. Think about your enjoyment of watching football this weekend. Like the NFL honestly did not really deliver many close outcomes. Detroit Rams, that was like the Lions-Rams game. That was the only game that was really like down to the wire where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know who's going to win this game. Outside of that, it was blowout city. Eagles get beat by the Bucks 32-9. Bills, that was never a ball game. Beat the Steelers 31-17. You look at the Packers destroying the Cowboys 48-32.
Final score way closer than the actual game.
Right. Yeah, it never felt close. Out the gates, Texans blow the doors off the Browns. It was over like 2 minutes into the third quarter.
What defense, Browns?
Oh gosh. I mean, and touted as the best defense or the second best defense in the league. But I say that.
Wait, who's the best?
Alongside what?
Who's the best defense in the league? You said second best.
Oh no, the Baltimore Ravens.
You liar!
I say this alongside the fact and the reasoning that I didn't even really notice, because the NFL it's a juggernaut. It's the best viewing product we have in this country. And I'm looking so forward to the divisional round after watching nothing but blowouts this weekend.
Yep. No, I agree. The games, even as blowouts, were fun. They had fun storylines. They had some breakout players that were fun to watch. And then you're looking towards next week, already looking at matchups, because you're going, whoa. if this team is this good here.
Yeah.
What's it going to match up like next week? So, yeah, you're right, man. It is a juggernaut, and it is fun. I'll tell you what isn't fun. It's been 3 weeks since Christmas, okay?
Yeah.
3 weeks. I understand if you have not had the time to take down your Christmas decorations, Fletch. But why do you still turn on the Christmas lights?
Dude, Santa Claus is still on our front porch, and he's lit up every single night.
Why? What is going
Because
on?
my wife is a Disney adult, which with the transitive property says she's also a Christmas adult.
Wow.
Okay, here's the other thing, okay? I'll drive around and I'll see Christmas trees still standing in the front window of houses lit up.
Dude,
and I asked this question. Yeah, maybe it's a fake tree. Either way, fire hazard. But I'm going, why do they still have their trees up? And then I was told there's a new trend that you keep your tree up all year long, and then you just redecorate it for every holiday. So it's coming up to Valentine's Day. You're going to have a Valentine's tree. Then you'll have a St. Patrick's tree, then a 4th of July tree, whatever it is. This is a dumb trend. Do not do this trend. Do not do this trend. It's dumb.
Wow.
Now, if it's a real tree, those things will go up in flames in seconds.
Maybe it's a potted tree.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's a fake tree.
Yeah, which most likely, if it's year round, you can't even really have a potted tree in your house, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess maybe. I'm with you. I didn't realize that was a trend, but people are redecorating their Christmas trees and using them all year round.
Dumb idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm out on that.
I pray, and I do this a lot. Like, I will pray that certain trends don't catch on with my wife. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, I'll be like, I'll see something on Instagram or on television. I'll be like, just please not my house.
Right.
Like,
But then there's certain trends you hope catch on, like the TikTok leggings, for example.
Oh yeah, the TikTok leggings, that was a big one.
Did those catch on at your house?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, skip my house too.
Yeah, I bought them and I had to return them.
Did you?
Well, they're not for you, Rich.
Wait, hold on.
I didn't buy them in my size. I bought them in Annie's size, and she goes, no.
Did Annie try them on and say they were comfortable?
She said, first of all, you bought the wrong size. Second of all, she was like, where am I going to wear them? I'm like, here. And she was like, just at the house. I'm like, yes. And she was like, does this make any sense to you? I'm like, yes. And she goes, put those in the mail.
Wow.
Those are going back.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was really sad. I should have bought them for my birthday and been like, no, this is a gift for me to myself. Put those on right now.
Let's make it happen.
Peter weighing in on YouTube this morning says Fletch's dog's name is Brock and he will have no
self-esteem.
No, he still has that.
He will. He'll have a scar.
Yes, right.
I don't know. Yeah, Brock the dog, he's going through it right now. Thoughts and prayers are welcome. Also, if you're interested in going to see Chris Stapleton, that show is coming up in March at Petco Park. We have tickets. We have a pair to give away. You're going to be listening very carefully during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to give away a code word at some point this hour. You're going to need that in the 8 o'clock hour to call in and win the Chris Stapleton tickets. Also, we're going to give away some Aztecs tickets in this hour, too.
Yeah.
Got a pair of tickets to see them take on Nevada tomorrow night.
Do you think Chris Stapleton sings the Monday Night Football theme?
Oh, at his show?
Yeah.
Dude.
And Snoop comes out?
That would be
sick.
We got to figure out a way to get to this show.
Yeah, we do. We might, dude. You could sneak into shows, by the way. just wear like a security jacket. Just walk
one
with
of those yellow ones that says staff.
Yeah, did you hear that, everybody? You could just stop listening right now and just sneak in. Don't worry about winning tickets.
Yeah. Don't worry about that at all.
Just turn us off.
But imagine like seeing like a bunch of people, like 100 people show up in staff jackets. That wouldn't be great.
I apologize. I was way too early on the NFL music because we got to do this.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that.
You're damn right.
Well, what I got is in the NFL. The Texans took down.
Skip to the NBA scores.
Just
what
Texans,
the people want.
Browns, Bucks. Yeah, Jason Kelsey retires. Blah 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 blah. In the NBA, the Lakers said, "Okay, see you later" to the Thunder. 112-105.
That was a good one.
This one's a little bit of a stretch here. The Grizzlies, Tom Hardy, the Warriors.
Oh my God.
116-107.
Because he was in the movie Warrior. Great movie, by the way.
Yeah. I don't think I ever saw it. The Jazz, Dr. Jones, the Pacers. 132-105. Indiana.
I got it.
Okay. The Cavs Chicago stopped the Bulls.
Oh my gosh.
109-91.
What are you even doing?
The Celtics Toronto the Raptors a new one, 105-96.
He's back.
And the Heat made the Nets get out of the kitchen in overtime, 96-95.
Because if you can't handle the heat.
Yeah.
You gotta get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
What was
get
the
out.
Chicago one?
Chicago stopped, not code.
Wow.
I mean, that was pretty good.
I almost feel like I want to take a lap. Like, I feel like
That was like the best ever.
Well, you're welcome, everyone. Yeah. Halftime.
yeah, halftime is
Brought
here.
to you by possibly
Potentially you.
Brought to you by Prune Candy. Okay, so check this out. We have a ton of storylines around the NFL regarding coaches. So Jim Harbaugh, he took his first interview with the Chargers.
Fake interview.
Yeah.
Posturing.
You think?
I do.
Wait, for Harbaugh or for the Chargers?
For the Chargers.
Okay.
They're checking the boxes that, look, we are interviewing the top candidate possible.
Chargers are busy, man. They've interviewed like 6 head coach candidates already.
And I promise you, of the 6, it'll be whichever name is least recognizable. That is who they will hire to be the next
Ryan
head coach.
Flaherty.
There you go.
Yeah. It's been
Who was
actually
the Padres offensive coordinator a couple years ago? You remember they had an offensive
Yeah,
coordinator?
who was that?
That's the Chargers' next head
Wait,
coach.
well, that was this season or this past season, 2023.
Offensive coordinator
Yeah, they had
in
an
baseball.
offensive coordinator.
let's see the Chargers. So Jim Harbaugh, Giff Smith, and offensive coordinator Kellen Moore from a year ago. Defensive coordinator with the Raiders, Patrick Graham. Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken. San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes, and Baltimore defensive coordinator Mike McDonald all have been interviewed by the Chargers.
By the way, the Wilkes hire would make so much sense for the Chargers. Like somebody who the rest of the league has collectively said, yeah, I mean, probably not a head coach anymore,
wow.
but a really good defensive coordinator.
I missed one. Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator former Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coaches already that they've interviewed.
Is Jeff Saturday next?
Well, did they interview Bill Belichick? That's a real question. And does Bill Belichick take that interview?
I don't know.
I feel like they don't. I mean, if this is just for posturing, then they checked the box already on the high profile coach. So Jim Harbaugh, check.
Also, the Chargers have interviewed 4 candidates for their general manager opening. Remember, it wasn't only Brandon Staley who lost his job. It was also Tom Telesco. Interim GM JoJo Wooden has been interviewed. I mean, I'll go through the rest of these names really quickly. Brandon Brown, Joe Horitz, Ian Cunningham. Not a lot of names that really cut through, but executives around the league who have been interviewed for that job. I guess the question is there any, and I mean any chance that the Chargers hire a Jim Harbaugh? To your point, a Bill Belichick.
I've been very wrong before many times on this program. I give it a 0.05% chance that either of those 2 names are the head of the Los Angeles Chargers come a few weeks from now when they make their decision.
There's a chance. And I mean, obviously you're leaving the door cracked open, at least a sheet of paper width here, Fletch. But I mean, there's a chance. I just don't see them ponying up the cash to bring in a Jim Harbaugh. That just doesn't seem like a Charger thing to do. Now, maybe this is it. Maybe they're going to go, you know what? We are going to finally pull the trigger. We're going to go on this thing and see what happens. But it just doesn't feel like it.
I also potentially think even if they do pony up the cash, which if it's $25 million for these guys, it's $25 million, they may go with a different offer because they don't want to be in the dysfunction that is the Chargers ownership group.
I just don't see it, Fletch. There's no way that the Chargers all of a sudden spend some part of $20 million per year on a head coach. Sean Payton is getting something nearing $19 million a year per year with the Denver Broncos. You know that Bill Belichick is going to want at least that much or more wherever he goes next. You know that Jim Harbaugh is going to want at least that much or more wherever he goes next if he leaves Michigan. It's just, I just don't see it happening with the Chargers.
I also think there's better jobs out there.
Yeah.
Like you look at the Chargers and they have Justin Herbert, which that's the most important thing, right? They have the quarterback, but if you look at their other superstars, they're either aging or often injured. And when you look at a team like, say, who Bill Belichick just interviewed with, the Atlanta Falcons, you look at their stars, it is a nucleus of young offensive talent between Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Like that is a nucleus of young guys who have huge potential in this league.
They are without a quarterback though, and so
in a draft that's loaded with them.
Yeah, well, you leave though New England, and I mean dealing with a young quarterback all over again. I don't know. I could see value in going to the Chargers because of Justin Herbert, but like I said, I just don't think they're going to pay enough. Mike McCarthy, Nick Sirianni, of those two coaches who just had losses over the weekend in the wild card round, Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, nobody's made a decision yet, but of those two candidates, or I should say of those two coaching positions, which one would you say is more secure after this weekend, or are both of them out of here?
It feels like both are out to me, but if you're looking at which one's more secure, probably Nick Sirianni's more secure. It almost feels like it's a certainty that Mike McCarthy gets the boot to me. There's just too many losses piled up, bad losses.
Yeah.
So when you look at ownership groups, though, Lori is a little more patient or a little more trigger happy with head coaches firing and hiring. Jerry Jones a little more patient. But that Jerry Jones interview that we heard sure did feel like a change is coming, like within the next hour.
Perfect timing to bring up our postseason pardons. So there have been a lot of players and a lot of coaches who have had some, less than stunning performances over the first round of the playoffs. So we'll hand out some pardons coming up next. But pardon me if I say this, Fletch. You're looking pretty good in that polo shirt this morning.
I am like half a knuckle deep in my belly button these days.
What did you just say? Good God. Oh, it's early.
Like it went from being a full finger belly button down to like a half knuckle belly button.
Wow.
And that's how I measure success. Some people step on a scale to measure success, not me. But if you're tired of the yo-yo diets and you're ready to make a change in 2024, you need to get on over to sdfatloss.com. We're supposed to make these things memorable, are we not?
We did step on a scale
every single day.
Can you imagine though? Wayne and Chloe are like, yes, Fletch is going to read this advertisement at 7:30, and then he starts the ad by saying, "You know what I do? I go a knuckle deep,
half knuckle." I'm just saying, at one point, and it was a very memorable point because I was on vacation with my beautiful wife. We were on the beach in Mexico, and I looked down and I was like, wow, I'm fat. And that's what it was.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to bring up the knuckles again.
I was like,
Jesus.
We can dump from here, right?
I'm going to grab a coffee.
I got on over to sdfatloss.com. Wayne and Chloe, as Rich mentioned, as disappointed as they may be in this ad read, I'm not disappointed in them because they did change my life, and they changed it for the better. I'm down a boatload of weight here. All three of us really are. And if the three of us can do it, I promise you can too. So get on over to sdfatloss.com today. Set up a free consultation with Wayne and Chloe and start yourself on the right track here in 2024 today. Because if you're thinking about those fad medications or those fad diets, don't, because they're just temporarily suppressing your hunger. As soon as you get off the drug or the diet, your frustration and your weight could come right back to haunt you. Believe you me, we did that. We were frustrated as soon as we got off of keto, as soon as we got off of paleo, as soon as we got off of carnivore, because the weight just came right back to us. And then we found sdfatloss.com. We're all down north of 35 pounds, and we're all keeping that weight off. So sdfatloss.com is the place to go. If you're looking to lose some weight in 2024, talk to Wayne and Chloe. Get a free consultation today. TD, what do we got coming up next?
We got to give a code word for those Chris Stapleton tickets.
Yeah, Text line has some suggestions on the code word. No Nuts Brock is not going to be the code word.
Ooh, that is pretty good, though. We're going to get to those, and we also got postseason pardons coming up next. Coming up next, we got to lock in that code word for you to win those Chris Stapleton tickets and postseason pardons.
This update is presented by eBay Motors. Super Wildcard Weekend in the books. Let's check out how the divisional round looks on Saturday. Texans going to be heading to Baltimore. They got the 1-seed Ravens at 1:30. Then the Packers, after beating the Cowboys on the road, they got the 49ers at 5:30 on Sunday. Lions hosting the Bucks in Detroit. And the Chiefs are going to travel to Buffalo. They got the Bills on Sunday night. Sticking with the NFL, after the Eagles lost to the Bucks last night, it is being reported that Jason Kelce told teammates and coaches in the locker room that he will be retiring after 13 seasons, many of which he was an all-pro, many of which he was considered to be the best center in football. And in the NBA, Lakers got a much-needed win last night over the Thunder, 112-105. As Travis Dale says, they OKC'd the Thunder. eBay Motors, here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride for the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
It's Big Rich Seating and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. Chris Stapleton coming to Petco Park this March. You can go to livenation.com if you're looking for tickets and info, or just keep listening, because this segment, I feel like we need to give the people what they want. Yeah. And they want a code word.
Yeah.
Because they want to win those tickets. We also have Aztec tickets. They're going to be playing out at Viejas tomorrow. Who are they playing again, Fletch? I apologize. Nevada tomorrow night.
This is a brutal stretch for the Aztecs here, playing against a bunch of quad one really good teams.
They had a rough weekend.
Rough night at New Mexico. You can get into a lot of different things about that game, but the Aztecs got outplayed. The better team won.
I mentioned one leaning negative thing about the Aztecs play, and you came at me like a spider monkey. I mean, there was a 2-page text that you wrote.
January has been a really rough month for top 25 teams. A lot of them with multiple losses here in January. When you get into conference play, things are just different. And I wanted to remind you that a year ago, New Mexico also beat the Aztecs, and the Aztecs ended up in the Final Four playing for a national championship. So one loss does not a season make, and New Mexico is a very good college basketball team. And by the way, 4 of the 5 top teams in the AP Top 25 all lost to unranked opponents this last week. Tennessee losing twice.
Yeah.
You got anything else for me?
Text line weighing in about a code word, knuckle deep.
Yeah. That could.
I also saw no nut Brock as a code word.
Those could be code words. That's sure good.
Yeah. Let's see. Bald head, skinny neck. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, we definitely got to come up with one here within the next 5 minutes or so. So if you're looking to win Chris Stapleton tickets, now's the time to really keep your ears glued to the radio or to the phone if you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, because we are going to be giving out that code word here in just about 5 minutes. And then later on in the show, you call in with that code word and you win those Chris Stapleton tickets. It's that easy. Also, we have those Aztecs tickets coming up. We're going to be giving those away in just about 15 minutes. So a lot of winning going to happen real soon here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Okay, which brings us to this. A lot of losing also happened this weekend. And when you look at losing performances, you focus on players or certain moments, certain coaches. So if we're going to take all of the losers, who are the most lovable of the bunch? Who are the ones where you're going to give the pardon to? The playoff pardon to whom?
It has to be the Rams, right? They're the only team that even kept it close. They're the only team that I felt going in to this weekend who lost should have won the game. And I do feel like the Rams deserved it more than the Lions. I know that the Lions are this lovable team out of Detroit that no one was expecting to be this good, this fast. But I thought the Rams were playing some of the best football in the NFL leading into that game. And the fact that they lost, I think the playoffs are worse without the Rams in them the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But if you're looking at lovable losers, the team you give a pass to, I feel like it's the Browns. The Browns, you were rooting for them, but did you really expect it to happen? Did you really expect Joe Flacco just to keep the fire lit here? Look, I was pulling for him. I just didn't think it was going to occur.
I can be completely honest and say when we filled out our playoff brackets on Friday, I had the Browns in the freaking Super Bowl. I did not think this was coming. Like, I thought that the defense was too good to have a blowout performance like this, and all the credit in the world goes to CJ Stroud, but that Browns defense playing that poorly was something I did not see coming whatsoever. They get no pass, by the way.
When we filled out our brackets, I picked the Browns to win this week, and then that was the end.
Oh, dude, yeah. I picked the Browns and the Rams. Well, so when we filled out that bracket, we never actually brought it to air, and I'm so glad we didn't. We had all
Mine
these
was
plans.
brutal.
We had all these plans like, oh, yeah, we'll print out our brackets. We'll talk about it on air, and we'll pick all of our teams through the Super Wildcard round. I'm so glad that didn't actually make it to air because every single pick, -1, I got wrong.
I think I got the Bucks right and the Chiefs right, and that might have been it.
Oh, actually, yeah. I guess technically my Saturday was okay.
And I picked the Cowboys to beat the Packers, even though I went back and forth on that one.
It's so crazy, man. It was a really unexpected weekend, but I will say this, and I agree with both of you. I think the Rams had a good showing against the Detroit Lions, but they kind of have that team of destiny thing going for them. The Browns with Flacco, I think he should get a pardon because the guy was literally napping on his couch when he was woken up by the Cleveland.
The guy was literally napping on the sideline a couple weeks ago.
Also,
you talk about a sleepy president that we have. We also have a sleepy quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, in Cleveland, there's no question about it. The Steelers for me get the playoff pardon.
They did not belong there.
Well, that's what I mean.
They were the one team when they took the field, I was like, oh, they don't belong.
Yeah. How did they get there? It's sort of like being invited or to a party and you show up to the wrong address and you're just like, wait a second, none of these people are my friends.
And I will, going into this season, the team that didn't belong in the postseason, I did not think would come from the AFC. I thought it would come from the NFC because they seem like the more top-heavy division. Right. But the AFC of the teams that didn't make the postseason, I mean, the Bengals aren't there. There was just so many quarterback injuries in the AFC that the Steelers somehow sneaked their way in.
Yeah, but yes, that is very true. And now Mike Tomlin, does he continue to have a job?
Weird press conference for Tomlin.
Yeah, that was very odd. They asked him about his contract, and as they were asking about his contract, he left.
Well, yeah, Brooke Pryor is actually catching a lot of heat. She covers the Steelers for The Athletic, and she asked that final question in the press conference. Mike, you only have 1 year left on your contract, and he looked wide-eyed directly through her soul and then walked away from the podium because he doesn't want to answer the question. Now, it's a worthy question because I guess
I think it had to be asked.
Where she was heading was, is there talks of an extension, or are you heading toward a lame duck year? Is it possible that the Steelers are going to move off of Mike Tomlin? All these questions are going to be asked this offseason anyways. Why is it inappropriate to start the questioning at the podium post game? I don't.
No one's asking questions about why Nick Sirianni was asked about it. Nick Sirianni just stayed and answered the question.
Yeah, and also not for nothing, but I think Tomlin has done enough to keep his job. But at the same token, if Sirianni, after bringing his team to the Super Bowl a year ago, and having a double-digit winning season can get asked that question and answer it. So can Tomlin. So I thought that was a little Bush League. I thought that was but I get it. People get frustrated, and that's the reason why we have reaction press conferences 30 minutes after a game, especially a loss like that, a brutal loss to Buffalo. Look, Tomlin, I would give him my playoff pardon because, like we were just discussing, I don't know how they made it there.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow with Kenny Pickett as your starting quarterback who stinks, Mason Rudolph, who is a backup for 4 years now, they found their way into the postseason.
Any surprise after Mason Rudolph really struggled there in the first, 15 plus 10, 25 minutes of the game? Any surprise they didn't move on to Kenny Pickett at some point?
No, because Mason Rudolph, he's really been the only one who even resembled what a starting quarterback should look like this season. I mean, they've tried Mitch Trubisky this year. Kenny Pickett obviously started the season and he's been hurt. He's also been fragile at the quarterback position. So no, I figured they would stick with him the rest of the way.
The hang up I have with giving Tomlin the playoff pardon here is it has been the past several seasons that the Steelers have done nothing except have a winning record. So this is Mike Tomlin's team that he has been trying to build year after year after year. That's just not great. I mean, it's just a mediocre team. So it's about time you got to the playoffs. Now, I love Mike Tomlin. I mean, I love the guy. I love his attitude. I love what he does on the field. However, you haven't had a real successful run here since Roethlisberger took the retirement here. So it's just rough for me to go, hey, you have a playoff pardon, other than I totally see your point, and I want to give him one as well because you shouldn't have been to the playoffs.
Yeah. And then listen, I don't know what's next for the Steelers because they've got some real problems on their hands in terms of like replacing Ben Roethlisberger, something they've been trying to do for years now. They've been trying to replace him before he was retired.
Right.
They just have not been able to.
Yeah, you remember the last couple of years of Big Ben? That was some ugly football.
Yeah, he was noodle arming his way around. And by the way, they got to the postseason when he was noodle arming his way around. So Mike Tomlin's a winner. He's a great head coach. He just needs a quarterback in the worst way, and the Steelers really haven't had one in a while. All right, coming up next, we're going to get into this divisional round. We just scratched the surface, but first we got to give out a code word.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to ask the same question. What do you guys want to go with?
I think knuckle deep.
I think knuckle deep is it too.
I think that's
thank you to the 610 or 760.
Yeah.
610.
All right, so take that code word.
Can we be clear about the context of knuckle deep?
No,
we can't. No,
we don't have time. We're running out of time.
Yeah,
you know what? Knuckle deep
enough.
is the code word or code phrase. You're going to need that code phrase when you call in for the Chris Stapleton tickets next hour.
That's because Fletch said he was knuckle deep.
In my belly button.
Right.
There's nothing weird about it.
Trying to change it now, Fletch.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
No explanation needed.
Because I've lost so much weight.
You know
thanks
what?
to stfatloss.com.
You know who go knuckle deep? Dentists. You know, when they're evaluating your teeth. Sometimes they got to get in there and fish around and see what's going on with your teeth, right, Fletch?
I'm uncomfortable.
It's a great way to start an ad.
Has
Doesn't that
dentist-
make you feel good?
Has your dentist been knuckle deep inside of you?
Okay, you guys are making it weird. I didn't make it weird. You made it
What are you
weird.
talking about? I'm talking about dental procedures,
You
Fletch.
opened an advertisement by saying, you know what I like to do? I like to go knuckle deep. Maniac.
That is not out. Go on, Rich. Tell me about your teeth. How beautiful those pearly whites are.
they're
Like a great white shark.
excellent teeth. Excellent teeth.
Yeah.
And I got more than I used to have because of Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. That's the truth. I needed 3 implants, not a small procedure, not something I was looking forward to, not something I thought that I would be smiling, talking about after the procedure was done, but I am because Dr. Jordan Colby is a miracle worker. You could have teeth in a day plus a winning smile with Ocean View Dental. Check them out at oceanviewdental.net. If you have a dentist that you're currently seeing that you don't like, don't wait. Book your first appointment with Dr. Jordan Colby. Here's why. He'll do the teeth cleanings and he'll do the normal dental work. If you have a cavity or something like that, all that's great. But if you ever have something major on your hands, like I did, like I said, I needed 3 implants. I needed an extraction done as well on one of my molars, and I didn't know who to turn to. I was told by my dentist, my former dentist, that it was going to take 1.5 years. That was really daunting to hear that. He got it done. Dr. Jordan Colby at Ocean View Dental. He got it done in 3 months. The procedure was from start to finish amazing. He showed me the digital picture of what the procedure entailed. I felt 100% confident in Dr. Colby. And on the other side of it, it's all working out perfectly. Again, that's Ocean View Dental. They have one location in Oceanside, another in Fallbrook. They provide excellent dental care, personal and professional attention that you and your family deserve. So if you're looking for a dentist, I got a great one for you. Visit oceanviewdental.net.
Do me a favor, stop what you're doing right now and download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Fletcher. You're going to get a $100 first deposit match. That's good for the divisional round weekend we got coming up. I'm going to tell you a story right now of why I love Prize Picks so much, why it's my favorite daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And it is the number one daily sports platform in North America. But this weekend, man, in the wild card weekend round, I had cooked up the perfect pick'em entry that I felt so confident about going in, and it was my Friday flex play, so you get the $20 back no matter what. But on this pick'em entry, I was perfect, 5 of 6. The one that I was missing, Isaiah Pacheco to get 90 or more rushing yards. He got 89. 89 rushing yards. I was one rushing yard away from Isaiah Pacheco to hitting a $680 win. But here's what I love about Prize Picks. Since I only got 5 of the 6 right, I still get $80 on that same entry. So it's good to go there. And I'll be able to play on the divisional round weekend with the winnings I made from the wild card weekend. And that's why Prize Picks is awesome. Their reboot policy that even if one of your players gets injured, you're able to get them back. How about the quick withdrawals? I've talked about it before. I had a $500 win on a Sunday. I was able to make the withdrawal and get the money in my bank account on Monday. And the weekly promotions, they are second to none. Taco Tuesday is coming up tonight. You get players projections up to 25% discounted, providing even more value for you. And then the Flex'em Friday, that's what I was working on last week. On Friday, you get a risk-free entry up to $20. Prize Picks now offering Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football and basketball season. And I'm telling you, Prize Picks is number one on the continent for a reason. Go to prizepicks.com/Fletch today. Prizepicks.com/Fletch. Use code Fletch, and you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. That'll be good for the divisional weekend in the NFL. Prizepicks.com/Fletch.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. You're listening on the free iHeart Radio app. We thank you. If you haven't downloaded it, go ahead and get you it. And you can listen to some Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton is playing Petco Park in March. We have a pair of tickets for a very lucky listener who has the code word.
Thought this was a DeMille report right now.
We just is this
the intro song?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to clean the swamp, and I'll tell you how. That's going to be at 8 o'clock. But right now, we're going to get into the NFL playoffs.
Well, you boys want some breaking news out of the Mesa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pray for all Aztecs football players. Winter conditioning starts today.
Ooh, yeah. Not a fun
Richie,
time.
go back to your days playing at Penn State in Happy Valley. When you had to come out of your slumber from your off season, which in college football's case is only like 2 months, and you report back for winter conditioning. How miserable is that first day?
It's bad. Well, and by the way, it's kind of a misnomer that you're like just not doing anything from the end of the season until winter conditioning.
What are you talking about? You're drinking beer, you're partying with frats,
No, you're just doing what you normally do. You're just working out. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a full-time job. That's the reason why a lot of people think like, oh, it's ridiculous that these college football players and basketball players are getting paid. It's like, well, no, it's not ridiculous if you know what their schedule looks like. It is a full-time job as much as it is at the NFL level. In fact, you have more to worry about because you actually have to go to classes and stay eligible.
Take finals.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
College sucks, by the way. Like doing actual schoolwork in college blows.
Oh yeah. And then throw like more than a full-time job, especially when you're in season on top of it. It blows extra bad. But congrats and I guess good luck.
How many guys are puking on the Mesa today?
It depends on how hard of a first workout it is. There are
just our brief look at Sean Lewis and who he is as a person. I'm imagining conditioning sucks.
I could see that. Well, let's put it this way. I'll give you a reason why it should. And this is not good for any of your offensive players. They run a ton of plays. Like if the Aztec fast offense that Sean Lewis runs works, it means that you're scoring a bunch, your offense is staying on the field a bunch, and you are going to be out there a bunch. You're going to run probably 80 to 90 plays a game in this offense, and you're going to run them fast. It's a high-tempo offense, so you need to be in shape. So the off seasons, they're going to be kicked up a notch on the Mesa. There's no question. So good luck to all the Aztecs football players out there. Good luck to the Aztecs tomorrow night. The Hoops team is going to be taking on Nevada, the Wolfpack, a quad one team. That's going to be an exciting one. We got tickets to that coming up in just about 3 minutes. So you're going to want to be listening for the time to call in for those.
With the keyword.
Oh, are we giving a keyword for that as well?
Oh, sorry. I was reading while you were talking.
TV
sorry, you said Viejas. I wasn't. I heard a short giveaway as I was reading what was happening there on the TV screen, which is inconsequential.
That's all right.
Yeah. Code words everywhere.
we didn't say anything really.
No, yeah. I heard it now. I recall.
I want to ask you guys a real quick question about divisional matchups. Tampa Bay heading to the Lions. You got Green Bay heading to the San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City heading to Buffalo, Houston heading to Baltimore. Which low seed has the best chance against a high seed here? You know, which team hosting one of these games?
I don't even think it's close. I think Kansas City has the best shot.
Yeah.
And Buffalo may be playing the best football in all of football right now, but Kansas City going to Buffalo, I have a feeling that this is going to be a Chiefs win.
What about Tampa Baker heading to Detroit? Baker Mayfield's looked really good this season.
These are the two real inspirational storylines, right? Tampa Baker, the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell, Jared Goff playing really good football. But I just think that the Lions have too much talent for the Bucs. I really do.
Well, Houston's a 4 seed.
Houston's a 4 seed.
Yeah. I mean, do you see Houston taking down Baltimore? Does Baltimore finally get found out here?
Playoff Lamar is a problem,
right?
Playoff Lamar Jackson is a problem. Look, it's not even about wins and losses. He's 1-3 as a starting quarterback. It's more about his performances. He's fumbled the football a ton. He's only lost one, but I think he's fumbled 5 times in his 4 playoff games. He's also thrown picks and had, lower rushing totals. And he's had one really superlative performance in the divisional round. This is back in 2019 when he won the MVP. I think it was that season. Maybe it was the next playoff appearance. but Lamar Jackson has struggled in postseason. CJ Stroud has not. CJ Stroud was incredible against the Browns defense.
Might have played the best game of his career a week ago.
It was nuts.
Over the weekend. And Houston's defense does have a habit of picking off quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And we saw that big time in the Super Wild Card weekend.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Buffalo is going to beat Kansas City here at home. I think that they are just a much hotter team at the moment. However, I mean, it's been back and forth here with the Bills of when they're hot, when they're not. I mean, it was literally back and forth in that game. First half Bills looked like they were just on a tear. And then the second half Bills, I mean, they scored 7. They scored 7 on a play because of a bad tackle.
Yeah.
I just think the Chiefs looked buttoned up for the first time this season over the weekend, and they were buttoned up in freezing cold conditions, and Mahomes looked good, and the receivers were catching the ball. Rasheed Rice had a great week. Taylor Swift
partying.
In spite of me needing one more yard from Pacheco, he still had 89 rushing yards in that game, and he was a workhorse. So.
Would you wear that puffy jacket?
I would wear that.
Yeah, I'd wear the puffy jacket.
49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk, who's like a lock for all-pro every single year, his wife is the one making all these puffy jackets.
Yes. It always comes back to the 49ers.
It's kind of a cool storyline, isn't it?
Did you watch any of the TikTok or Instagram videos of her making these jackets?
Yeah, she's hot.
No, well, but also but I mean, it's pretty impressive of her making these jackets. Like she's making them out of jerseys, making puffy coats.
She's like, I missed that part. I was looking at her. But cool. That sounds cool that she did that.
Wait, what was she doing?
All right. Call in at exactly 7:59 if you want to win those Aztecs tickets. We have a pair to see the Aztecs take on the Nevada Wolfpack tomorrow night, Viejas Arena. You could hear all that right here on the home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Tip-offs at 8, pregame underway at 7. We are going to have more tickets to the Aztecs coming up throughout the season, so be listening for those. But 877-767-4760 right at 7:59. Okay, want to talk to you guys about low testosterone. A lot of people think that starts happening in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s. It doesn't. It can start in your 30s, and trust me, I'm living proof. So I had no idea I had low testosterone. No clue. I had a buddy, a former professional football player, a teammate of mine. He got in touch. He told me about how he was doing TRT therapy, that's testosterone replacement therapy. I'm like, why are you doing that? He was like, well, I went in and got tested, and it turns out I was low on T. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe I should get my testosterone tested. So I went over to Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone. So with Dr. Roy David over there, and I got my testosterone tested, and there's a range from 300 to 1,000. I was in the low 300s. I'm 37 years old. So my point is, if it could happen to a former professional football player in his late 30s, if you're in your 40s, your 50s, or 60s, you should be checking your testosterone annually. And I mean it. It's not about just what's best for your health. It's about optimizing your health. It's not about what's best for waking up in the morning and having energy. It's about what's in your future, what your future holds for you, keeping your muscle tone, keeping in shape for your whole life. It's all about testosterone for men of a certain age. And I'm telling you, late 30s is not too early to check. So again, that's Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery. Dr. Roy David is the double board certified plastic surgeon who's in charge of the Man Zone. And if you want more information, visit themanzone.com. But I'm telling you, don't wait. If you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, it's time to check your testosterone today. Check out themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com.
All right, hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Progressive Insurance. We will begin here in the NFL. Super Wild Card Weekend in the books. Let's check out how the divisional round shakes out on Saturday. Early, Texans are going to Baltimore. They got the 1 seed Ravens at 1:30. Then the Packers will head to San Francisco, actually in Santa Clara. They'll be taking on the 49ers at 5:30. On Sunday, the early game is Lions hosting the Bucks in Detroit. Chiefs are going to travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Sticking in the NFL, looks like Jason Kelce, Eagles center for the last 13 years, is going to retire. He told teammates and coaches in the locker room Kelce thought of to be the best center in football over the last handful of years. And in the NBA, Lakers got a much-needed win last night over the Thunder, 112-105. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this day after a long holiday weekend.
What
and
is
if
this
you're enjoying the sultry sounds of Chris Stapleton,
It's called More of You.
this is one of his ballads.
it's a good old country song.
Yeah,
Old country, riding song.
just a twanging Johnny Cash style. I like this one. Not exactly a sing-along. Maybe one that you play while you're whittling.
This feels like a whiskey on the front porch,
don't mind
leaning
some
back.
whittling.
Maybe a thing of straw hanging out your mouth like this.
You're
Yeah,
still
look.
whittling, though.
I'll tell you what,
I'm in.
You are the closest to a cowboy on our show, Fletch, because you grew up in where is it again? What's it called? It's
Merced.
Merced.
Yeah,
Right?
Merced.
In Merced.
They have cowboys there?
I got a few.
Yeah.
Lots of ranches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and you just described the cowboy like you've never seen one. You're like, man, you just lean back and you just, I guess, drink whiskey and you put that thing in your mouth. You know, like, hey, straw.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, describe it like the.
I butchered chickens, all right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but-
dude, you swung chickens over your head and threw them into tomato vines.
That's a fact.
on Grandpa's farm.
You did describe a cowboy like it was from a coloring book. You got those spiky things
I
on
fixed
your
fences
boots?
before.
Yeah, you mended fences?
Fixed fences.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
just like
you were
cowboy.
close.
Listen,
Skinny up. You didn't bite.
those Stapleton tickets, they're going to be a good ticket to get your hands on.
Mm.
And you need that code word from the 7 o'clock hour. If you want to win them this hour, we're going to give you the time to call in here pretty soon.
That's right.
I'm not going to lie to you. It could be sooner rather than later. How about that?
I like it.
Chris
I like
Stapleton tickets available with the code word. And I think that's how we're going to do it all week long. So you got to be listening to our entire show. Get yourself the code word. We'll give you the time to call for the Chris Stapleton tickets. Again, we gave that away in the 7 o'clock hour. We're giving away the tickets here coming up very
Do
shortly.
we give the code word one more time here?
Hell no.
Do we want to? Can we? Should we?
But I mean, what if somebody
Tell you
just
what, if
tuned in
you-
right now?
If you follow us and DM us on Twitter right now, I will give you the code word via a DM at Big Rich TD Fletch.
Oh, there you
Okay,
go.
all right.
Okay, so Fletch is in charge of the Twitter account for the rest of the show. If you DM him on Twitter.
Whoa. Twitter, though, can they DM if they don't have a
Yeah, our
paid for
DMs are
account?
open.
Oh, that's how it works?
We leave them open.
Oh, well, wide
but,
open.
but don't you
Wide
you must follow us at Big Rich TD and Fletch.
Okay.
You cannot get your code word unless you follow us. All right, I like that. If we'll give a second opportunity to new followers on Twitter, and maybe we'll do the same on Instagram as well. Big Rich TD Fletch on Instagram as well.
913 blowing up the text line right now saying, don't you dare give out that code word again.
You shut your mouth, Travis Dale. You shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. We also have Four Corners coming up in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, we got to talk about what we saw this weekend with the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles specifically. You think about these two teams. They're both in the NFC East, both share a division, both with double-digit win seasons. And one of them went to the damn Super Bowl last year. The other one made it to the divisional round after a playoff win last year.
And they're both frauds.
Well, both of their head coaches look like they could be hitting the free agency wire here soon. Sirianni in Philadelphia, McCarthy in Dallas. Which one I mean, because it feels like they're both heading toward the chopping block. Which one do you think makes the decision sooner? Is it going to be Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys moving on from McCarthy, or Laurie with the Eagles moving on from Nick Sirianni?
I wouldn't be surprised if we got either tweet from Adam Schefter within this hour. In fact, I haven't checked his Twitter account in the last 10 minutes. It may have already happened. But I do think Jerry Jones will take his time more than Laurie will with the Eagles. Because Laurie, we know in the past, just makes these decisions, it feels like, on a whim. If something goes wrong, he's like, well, not the right guy. Let's figure this out and change it up. And also, the Eagles are going to be heading into at least a mini rebuild because of how much they're going to be missing after this offseason. Like, you think about what it took for them to get to the Super Bowl last year. That felt like it was probably their best shot in this current era. Now that we know Jason Kelsey's retiring, who I believe is the most important piece to the tush-push offense, like, you can't just throw any center in there and have it work the way it does, because we've seen 31 other teams try it and fail it more often than the Eagles do. And then I also firmly believe that with Jason Kelsey retiring, Lane Johnson is not far behind him. And you talk about the most important right tackle or right guard, wherever they play him in football, it's Lane Johnson. So with this much rebuilding for them to do, also Fletcher Cox is a free agent now. Who knows what it's going to take to sign him? Brandon Graham, a free agent now. When you look at the Eagles, they're going to have so much turnover in this upcoming offseason that they might need a new head coach.
Did you, well, during yesterday's game, they went for the tush push. It gets stopped on their only touchdown.
Penalty. Should have been.
There was a massive face mask against Jalen Hurts that didn't get called there. But besides that, why are you going for 2 there? What's the point? I mean, you're down by 7. You kick the extra point. Then when you score your next touchdown, you're up by a point. What's the reason that you want to be within 5 other than you're going, oh, we're probably not going to score a touchdown, so we're going to hope for 2 more field goals?
The tush push is a 98% successful play, which you could argue is a higher success rate than extra points. And so what happened with the offsides penalty that Tampa Bay incurred, it puts you at the 1 yard line.
Right.
And when you have Jalen Hurts in that offensive line, and the fact that they average 3 yards per tush push. So they were thinking, well, it's an automatic 2. It's actually a safer play than kicking the extra point again. So that was the thought process there. I didn't disagree with the call. I didn't like the fact that they didn't call face mask. Literally, Jalen Hurts' head was being tugged and twisted in the opposite direction of the end zone. And it's a dangerous play. I mean, outside of it being illegal and a flag should have been thrown, I mean, it could have hurt him.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, I saw that happen as a viewer in real time. So I don't know how it was missed out there on the field.
Yeah, I don't either. I immediately, as I was watching the play, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, they're grabbing underneath his helmet. I forget the name of the linebacker, but tugging his head away from his body, away from the goal line, obviously, where the head goes, the feet and the football follows. And then they didn't throw the flag, even though there was an official running in from the sideline to spot the ball. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous that he didn't throw the flag.
One thing from Super Wildcard Weekend that I noticed that we haven't talked about yet, it did seem like the refs were a little more hesitant to throw flags. They were letting them play a lot more, which I'm a fan of. But in situations like that, and in situations like we saw in the Rams game where Matthew Stafford got hit 4 different times on the same play after he let go of the ball, that seemed like an obvious roughing the passer in a play which I think he was obviously concussed, and they didn't call anything. I'm like, well, okay, there's a certain point where you're letting them play, and there's a certain point where it's straight up dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mean to get us down that rabbit hole there, but I mean, we're talking Dallas, we're talking Philadelphia. Who's quicker to pull the trigger on getting rid of their coach? I feel like Mike McCarthy is going to be out sooner, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. Man, oh man, it was just not a good showing out there in Dallas. By the way, home teams over Super Wildcard Weekend went 5-1. And the only one that lost was the one who hadn't lost all season long.
They had won 16 straight games at home. I think I have that right. It might have been 17. But for the Cowboys to have that much home dominance, and for the Packers to come in and dominate them from get-go. Like that game, we talk about games being over into the second half. That game was over after the first quarter.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular what Jordan Love was able to do. And so I agree with what TD just said. I do think that it's Mike McCarthy. If it comes down to which one goes first, Nick Sirianni or Mike McCarthy, I think Jerry Jones has seen enough. I mean, think about it. He's had a longer stretch of time coaching the Dallas Cowboys. He's gotten them to the postseason, but unsuccessfully gotten them beyond the divisional round so far. And Jerry Jones has to be looking at life through this lens. In my lifetime, if I want to win a Super Bowl, is it going to be with Mike McCarthy? And I can answer for him. The answer is no. He's just not a very good coach in tight football games. And if you're going to look at what happens in the postseason over the course of his resume, I mean, outside of that Super Bowl win in Green Bay, it hasn't been great.
Yeah, all right, let's do this real quick. TD, I want you to play Mike McCarthy. Rich, I want you to play Jerry Jones. You're eating your egg and cheese McMuffin or whatever he gets from McDonald's every day because we know he does that.
Are you talking about Jerry Jones or Mike McCarthy?
Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy looks like it. I don't think he does, though. But Mike McCarthy reporting to Jerry's World today, sitting down in Jerry Jones's office upstairs. And Jerry Jones, take it away.
Now, Mike, why don't you go ahead and pull up a chair real quick? Want to talk to you about what happened over the weekend here.
Yeah.
Does Mike get the comfy chair or is this the wooden one?
You know what, Mike? I'd like it if you just sit in that child's chair over there. We call that the kids' table. That's when the grandchildren show up.
But I'll give it a go here. How are we doing?
Very strong chair.
Jerry, it's good to see you, buddy.
Now, Mike, we had a conversation about Dak Prescott prior to the game, the football game.
Yeah. He said it himself, Jerry. He said I sucked.
Yeah, and Dak, he says a lot of things, and we take a lot of what Dak says very seriously. Now, why did you think he said that precisely, Mike?
Well, I mean, mostly because he sucks. Didn't have anything to do with coaching, though. I can tell you that much.
Now, Mike, I believe that's where a lot of people disagree with you. A lot of people feel like maybe it's you that might be the problem.
Well, me.
That's correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you saw that Kansas City game. You had to stream on Peacock. Anyways, don't know why you're bringing that up, but yep. Anyways, how's that, Sammy?
You know what, Mike? Instead, I actually don't want to have this conversation any longer. Waiting just on the other side of this door is Bill Belichick. I'd like to have him sitting in that seat instead. Whoa. So if you could just kind of leave the office, you stink of Egg McMuffin. Thank you.
Wow. I don't know if you also saw that the Heat made the Nets get out of the kitchen in overtime.
All right, so Adam Schefter actually has not tweeted in the last 2 hours. His last tweet was talking about Raheem Morris, the Rams defensive coordinator, who's scheduled to have Zoom interviews this week with the Panthers, Commanders, and Seahawks. So Raheem Morris getting some looks to be a head coach. Baker Mayfield, with that win over the Eagles last night, he collected $250,000 on that incentive-laden contract for the Tampa Bay quarterback. Tampa Baker leading the Bucs into the divisional round. He might be leading the Bucs to an NFC championship game if they can get over the Lions. The schedule for this weekend is set. We're going to have on Saturday, Texans going to the number 1 seed Baltimore. They got the Ravens at 1:30. Then the most important game by far, the only one that really matters, Packers, after beating the Cowboys, they're going to travel to Santa Clara. They got the 49ers at 5:30 Saturday night. On Sunday, Lions are going to host the Bucs in the afternoon in Detroit. Chiefs traveling to Buffalo. They got the Bills on Sunday Night Football. Jason Kelce, longtime center for the Philadelphia Eagles. After 13 seasons, a handful of all pros, widely considered to be the best center in pro football at 36 years old, told teammates and coaches last night that he will be retiring. Rich Ornberger, as somebody who played the center position for a long, long time, have you ever seen anybody as good as Jason Kelce play that position?
Probably not. In my lifetime, probably not. Yeah, Jason Kelce is the best center that I've seen in my lifetime.
Also, you're not playing with a mirror out there.
That's also true. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to exclude myself, I guess that's the way you're asking the question.
Talk about the durability of Jason Kelce, the amount of consecutive starts. It's a ridiculous number. The way he's able to actually be athletic and get pulled from the center position out to run block on the left or right sideline. It's just really impressive what he's been able to do.
Yeah, you said it all right there. I mean, the only thing I would add is leadership. I mean, look, the guy is one of those spark plugs for a team that absolutely needs it. All teams do, but Jason Kelce has been one of those guys in the locker room who's inspired this team, has been a great lead by example type of leader, but also a fiery speaker when given an opportunity.
And undersized his entire career.
He was a great story, a success story. of how hard work beats talent. That's the reality of this world. Is some of the most talented people you'll meet are the laziest, and it is such a shame. Jason Kelsey is the exact opposite. I don't know if he was the best athlete in his high school. He probably wasn't, because he went to high school with his brother. Yeah. I don't think he was the best athlete in college football coming out the year he came out, but he was mean. He was nasty. He was a hard worker. He was good enough at all of the things you needed to be good. He was great at the most things, and that includes being a leader. So he's going to be sorely missed in that Philadelphia Eagles locker room, but he is going to be welcomed with open arms to the Hall of Fame when his eligibility comes up in 5 years, because there is no question about it. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And I can't really speak to this, but I know Troy Aikman was last night about how Jason Kelsey has made Jalen Hurts a better quarterback.
Oh,
and without Jason Kelsey, Jalen Hurts may have not had the level of success that he's had so far.
It's so underrated, the importance of the center with a young quarterback who has talent, ability, and also veteran number of games under the belt. If you can lead from the center position, meaning you can set the protection, it takes so much off the plate of a young quarterback. And Jalen Hurts had that benefit throughout number 62's career, calling out the protections for him, setting the run blocking, sometimes probably helping him change plays. Like, hey, we can't run to that side. Like, stuff like that, like things that you don't hear, that the mics don't pick up. Like, hey, low safety, just little reminders, little things. It's like, oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. So we got to run to the left. We can't run to the right side with that low safety. It's little subtle reminders that you can see. No doubt about it. All right. We got those Stapleton tickets coming up in just a little bit. We're going to give you the time to call. Code word. And if you missed your code word opportunity, you can follow us at Big Rich TV Fletch on Instagram or Twitter. If you direct message us, we'll message you back with the code word. It's a ridiculous one this morning. But let's get to four corners. What's on the top of the docket here as we span the map to bring the best stories we missed today?
Gage Goldberg, son of WWE superstar Goldberg, commits to Colorado.
Right. For football?
For football, yeah. For football. Guess who had a shot at him?
Can you imagine?
They were trying.
Famous for the spear, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
You're probably going to see this a lot, by the way, this year, because Sean Lewis was so heavily involved with recruiting in Colorado that there's going to be a lot of recruits that were either making towards Colorado, switch over and come to the Aztecs. There might be a lot of recruits who Sean Lewis is still working on who are going to stay in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. This one hurts a little bit.
It's a little.
I mean, because I don't know if he's going to be anything like his dad, but if he is, he's going to be a pretty good football player.
Players on the show, and he would have liked to interview Goldberg.
Yeah, we should. We should.
We'll reach out.
So we're going to ask him about the show.
You guys see the story about the Los Angeles Raiders? So heartbreak on the heartbreak. They had what can only be described as a heartbreaking loss at Detroit, with all the storylines going into it. Matthew Stafford getting booed on his way into and out of the stadium. Like, it hurts for Matthew Stafford. You know what hurts worse? Their flight being stuck on the tarmac for hours after that game.
Dude,
that would suck.
I've been in these situations where a flight gets delayed after a loss. I think it's happened twice over the course of my playing career. Once in college, once actually happened 3 times, twice at the professional level. It is the worst, especially like there comes a point in the trip, if it's a long enough one, where somebody goes, hey, does anyone get any booze left? And then everybody's just like, no, it burned through it because the fog is
so that was really sad. Tyreek Hill's Twitter account over the weekend.
Oh my God!
So he got blasted on a 5-yard bump from one of the, I believe it was Willie Snead, and the NFL put up a post of it because it was a really cool defensive play. But Tyreek Hill got absolute pancakes on it.
So it was press man coverage, and Willie Snead was, right up on the line of scrimmage against Tyreek Hill. And what you're supposed to do when it's press coverage, either mirror his hips and move with him, or get up there and just jar him right off the ball. And that's what Snead did, and knocked him clear on his ass.
And Tyreek Hill put up a tweet after the fact, quoting the NFL's tweet, saying he just send my ass all the way to
He said he can't. That's what you call a
Great.
jamming receiver. He said he jammed my
Great.
ass to Cancun.
Very funny. It is basically National Italian Day because it's National Big Newton Day.
We don't
Why not? Pigs are Italian, though. I thought pigs were Italian.
I like to think you're just as much as anybody else.
You turn your back on pigs?
I love pigs.
Yeah.
Pigs are an Italian thing, baby. Pig speed, grilled cheese, pig spread, grilled cheese sandwich is one of my specialties, but I think it's a very that's one of my specialties. Pig spread on pizza was a long thing in my home country.
But if they wrap it in a tasty Newton,
That's just Americanized.
wow. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I could eat a Big Newton right now.
I'm like a big bread grilled cheese sandwich with 100% does not include American cheese. No doubt. Actually, what he made for us had French cheese on it. It had three. Yeah. Wow. It's an Italian.
Get off my back.
Wait, what kind of bread was it?
Warriors Draymond Green comes back to the court after his suspension. And on MLK Day, Memphis, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance, especially the NBA. He got absolutely booed out of the club.
Right.
Not good. Draymond Green, I mean, he is like the villain in the NBA.
They're not happy with him at all.
He gets blasted. And he will continue to. I think he's going to get booed on the floor. Just about every single visiting room. He might even get booed at all. Yeah, okay. He might when it comes back to Golden State. Although I think everybody thought someday.
He's turned off some fans. It used to be the case. It was like you love to have him on your team, you hate him if you're playing against him. Draymond Green's
Yeah, I we'll get to that another time. We have playoff football on the way this weekend, and we got some injuries around the league we got to take a closer look at. Dr. David Jones at ProFootball.com on X. You find him at sixsport.com as well. He's going to join us to talk about some of the injuries left over from Super Wildcard Weekend and how they may impact your bets coming up next. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about my great dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby, over at Ocean View Dental, which is in Oceanside, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from wherever you are in San Diego. He's my dentist. I drive up to Oceanside from PB when I have to see him or anybody in my family, and the reason why is because I needed a dentist who could handle a lot of work at first. I needed 3 implants put in. I had a tooth that needed to be extracted. I didn't know who to turn to, and it was actually on the recommendation of Kogo News' LaDonna Harvey, who has been going to Dr. Jordan Colby for years now. She said, oh my goodness, if you have major dental work coming up, she's like, you got to go see him. Well, I went in there and he sat me down and he showed me the digital pictures of the procedure. And afterward, I felt 100% confident. I didn't have to go to anybody else's office. Everything happened in Dr. Jordan Colby's office. He's got the most advanced dental technology, including digital x-rays, 3D CT imaging, dental lasers, Invisalign veneers, and so much more. At Ocean View Dental, you're also treated like a member of the family. They're incredible over there. They have a location in Fallbrook as well that offers tremendous dental service, professional and personal attention your family deserves. So if you are looking for a dentist, or if you're not, if you have a dentist, but you want a better one, oceanviewdental.net. That's where you should start your search. Oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net.
We got the NFL divisional round coming up this weekend. Let's talk about some of the injuries in the NFL with Dr. David Chow. He joins us next.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. Super Wildcard Weekend in the books. When the divisional round comes on Saturday, the Texans are going to be going to Baltimore. They got the Ravens at 1:30. Packers, after beating the Cowboys on the road, they're going to Santa Clara. They got the 1 seed San Francisco 49ers at 5:30 Saturday night. On Sunday, Lions hosting the Bucks in Detroit in the early game. Chiefs traveling to Buffalo. They got the Bills in the late game. Over in the NBA, Lakers got a much-needed win last night over the Thunder, 112-105, and we'll be taking a look at some of the injuries across the remaining postseason teams with Dr. David Chow coming up next. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and we still have Chris Stapleton tickets we got to give away here. He's going to be out at Petco Park March 2nd, livenation.com for tickets and info. I would be listening this segment, and you want to make sure you have that keyword that we gave away last hour if you want to win them. Also, if you don't have the keyword, well, then DM us, Fletch, whoever, on San Diego Sports 760, our Twitter page there, and we will send you the code word back. But you got to follow us there if you want to get it. Also, congrats to Stella, who won those Aztec tickets. They're going to be playing Nevada tomorrow night, VA House Arena, 8 p.m. tip-off. Live coverage begins here at 7 o'clock. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Joining us right now, he joins us every single week. He's the man with the plan. He knows everything about what's going on with injuries all around the NFL. You can find him at Pro Football Doc on X, and you can also find him at SICScore.com. That's SIC score.com. Dr. David Chow, how are you this morning, man?
I'm doing well, and I don't know that I know everything about injuries, but we had a pretty good week. The 5-star guaranteed picks were 3-0, and we were 4-0. Thank God we stayed away from the Dallas game. It wasn't a strong enough lean. They got their the stuff handed to them. That was a good stay away. But I was joking with the guys, like, if we could take Green Bay money line plus 300 to Bill Belichick, the next coach, plus 2,000, that would have been one heck of a parlay, right? But obviously they don't even offer stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you could group those two bets together. One thing that unfortunately we did not stay off of was our season-long win-loss total bet. We all tied. I don't know if that's a good thing. I guess we all lost.
It sounds like we're making that up, but we did all actually tie.
And the result of which is, and this was always going to be the case, somebody was going to have to eat the spiciest tortilla chip. I don't know if you ever heard about this, Doc, but the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Apparently, I don't know, it's got like over 1 million Scovilles of spiciness, whatever that is, the rating scale and how spicy foods get. Is there any danger eating spicy food? Like, do you forecast that we may be in mortal trouble here by doing this, or is this going to be fine?
I don't know that there's going to be any mortal trouble. Since you all tied, does that mean you all have to eat it?
Correct.
Yeah, we had one, and then they pulled them from stores because somebody actually died eating the chip. So we had to find 2 on eBay. So now we have 3 of these chips.
Well, I think there should be an additional juice to this, whether it's whoever reacts the worst or whoever takes the longest to finish the bag. There's an additional something, right?
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Why are you
I'll
trying to
leave
make
it
our
to
lives
your
worse?
listeners for the creativity. I mean, you can't just have cream you just eat and that's it. There's got to be a contest involved here, right?
That's true.
I mean, whether it's first done or last done or worst reaction, there's got to be something there.
Mm-hmm.
He who stays out of the hospital, I don't know.
It's the first person who has to take a drink or something, like to try to cool the heat.
Oh no, I hate this.
Oh, this actually is brilliant. Doc David Chow joining us right now, SICScore.com, Sports Injury Central, for all of your injury updates throughout the postseason in the NFL. I mean, it's going to be one of those divisional rounds that I think stacks up to be a great one. The Super Wildcard round was really wonky. A lot of blowouts, a lot of teams fall, and I don't think it was necessarily expected results, but just sort of there were just teams cruising to the finish in the fourth quarter. Coming up this weekend, though, what would you say are the most consequential injuries that you saw and your team is sort of handicapping here as we head closer and closer to the divisional round kicking off?
Yeah, look, when we get to the playoffs and the wild card round, a lot of the unhealthier teams are eliminated. That's why they didn't make the playoffs. And wild card, we, obviously every time that we're right on injury analysis, for example, Miami, and their big shortage of linebackers, right? Your old teammate Melvin Ingram was on Miami. Justin Houston got signed. Bruce Irvin got signed. 30-plus-year-old linebackers newly added out in the cold there. And it's difficult to do that, and they lost. So we don't have those to pick on anymore. But there are some definitely things to watch. Detroit, Sam Laporta played. He caught a touchdown, 3 catches, 14 yards, but clearly wasn't himself. He still won't be himself. Detroit still won't have Khalif Raymond, we don't believe, because of the PCL. And Jameson Williams, not 100% off the high ankle, but a week better. And Tampa might be the healthier side there, but, you believe in Tampa or Detroit is a different story. Injuries is just one thing in there. And the Bills have been injured on defense throughout this season, which is where one of the reasons where they had to backdoor their way into the playoffs. I shouldn't say that, to win their way in late season to the playoffs. And Terrell Bernard turned out to be a real good backup for Matt Milano, and he was carted off. Thankfully, there's no fracture, but I doubt he plays this week from his ankle. And so there goes the Buffalo defense again, where Kansas City remains one of the healthier teams. So we lay that all out in field views and different things and different promotions at the website. And no, we didn't predict the blowouts, but we certainly were on Houston and on Kansas City and on Tampa last night, based on injury and health advantage.
Hey. I'll turn my mic on. Maybe that's better. Hey, Doc, when you were watching that Rams game, Matt Stafford goes down, hits his head. All of us here thought, oh, that's a concussion. Did that look like a concussion to you? And if it did, how did he stay in that game?
Well, it's hard to judge concussions by video, and the sideline doctors and the independent neuro is required to look at the video as well. And that's part of the evaluation. So they have it. And for those who think that, oh, it's Matt Stafford and, whatever, it's the playoffs, remember, the Neuros are not affiliated with the team. And the game was in Detroit, so it was a Detroit area independent physician. So we'll let them judge. I get sort of the initial look. Look, if you see someone posture or the balance or stagger or this, that, the other, it becomes more obvious. I mean, I get why people are talking about it, but for me, and I think I'm going to date myself here, I don't know how many of you 3 are going to get this reference, but Matt Stafford has always been a Timex watch. I mean, takes a licking and keeps on ticking kind of thing. And Fletch can't know that one. You're too young.
Yeah, we know that one over here. Fletch,
okay.
maybe not. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even old enough to remember the Niners' last Super Bowl, but I feel like this team is built for one. When you look at having a week off, Doc, a lot of these guys, some of them had 2 weeks off here heading into this. How much does that benefit or how much does that potentially hurt the 49ers and the Ravens?
Well, it's going to benefit Christian McCaffrey a lot with that mild calf strain. So it depends on who you are. And Kyle Shanahan obviously has a good grip on all of this. He talked about in press conferences, it's not just about who you rest week 18. It's about how you practice people and how you get them ready to go without rest. So I think he's got a good handle on this. I don't think it's going to hurt San Francisco that much. If anything, at least the Christian McCaffrey, maybe the lingering Trent Williams, Debo injuries, it gives them a little more rest. And I'm sure they're working on their first scripted plays, which the 49ers are famous for doing.
Hey, Doc, we appreciate it every single week. We'll do it again next week, Tuesdays with Doc David Chow. 8:30 is when you're going to hear him on our show. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch will get you the full injury update as we have throughout the NFL season, now into the postseason. Check out sicscore.com. That's sicscore.com for all of your injury updates, and follow Doc at ProFootballDoc on X or Twitter, whatever you call it.
Hey, Rich. Hey, Rich. Belichick to the Cowboys. You got the connect. Come on.
I'll tell you right now, it feels like the movie Wild Hogs. So Belichick goes to the Cowboys, and then he brings Billy O'Brien and Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, all these former head coaches, Nick Saban, and then Tom Brady comes and quarterbacks the Dallas Cowboys. They go and win a Super Bowl, one last ride,
and then that's it.
And then that's it. Yeah, and right off into the sunset on their motorcycles. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I have not spoken to Bill Belichick since he cut me from the football team.
You holding a grudge? Is this a Robert Griffin, Jay Gruden grudge?
Oh, there's no question about it. I wish death on him. No, I'm kidding. I wish the best for him, as I do you as well, Doc. I appreciate your time, buddy. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Bye.
There he goes. Bill Belichick is dead to me, though.
That's enough to get us kicked off of YouTube, by the way.
Whoa. What?
Wishing death upon someone?
Oh, I thought you were talking about going 2 knuckles deep, or however the hell you started your ad read earlier.
Speaking of which, TD's looking about a half knuckle deep as well.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know.
Tell us about your knuckles.
I'll skip that one. I'll skip the knuckles. You know what I talk about is over the weekend I did some cooking. I did some steaks. I actually did a brisket. And as I was diving in eating, I thought, well, hang on here. I'm just gonna have a little here. I don't need to go overboard. And then I went, oh wait. Maybe SD Fat Loss did teach me a few things here, because I've been holding 30 pounds off now for a couple months, which, look, this has never happened before. I've done the fat diets. I've lost weight, and then I've always gained the weight back, and then even more weight, which then SD Fat Loss said, yeah, stupid, that's yo-yo dieting. You don't want to do the yo-yo dieting. So, look, they know the secret. So you don't yo-yo diet. You're going to lose weight fast. You're going to keep that weight off. That's why they are the best. Wayne, Chloe over there, the coaches, the staff, they know how to do it. They know how to do it right. They can show you how to do it as well. So if you want to lose some weight here and you want to lose weight quickly, like 30 pounds in 2 months, because that's what I did. Rich over 35. Fletch, I don't know, he's like at 210 pounds lost now, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of weight getting shed very, very quickly here, and we're keeping the weight off. That's where you want to keep it. So look, sdfatloss.com. You can schedule a free consultation today at sdfatloss.com. Coming up, we got to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
We absolutely do. But before we scram, at exactly 8:48, if you want to win those tickets to Chris Stapleton playing Petco Park in March, livenation.com for more tickets and information. But if you call in at 877-767-4760 with the code word we gave you in the 7 o'clock hour, or the code word that you DM'd us for on Instagram or Twitter at Big Rich TD Fletch, well, you're going to go ahead and see Chris Stapleton.
Hang up your phones right now.
Yeah. Don't go in yet.
You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's right. Call in at 8. The person who was listening on the phone line hung up. So exactly 8:48, you go ahead and call in for those Chris Stapleton tickets. Bottom of the barrel next. We've reached the end. The penultimate segment. It's bottom of the barrel, and it's next. Woo! Let's go.
We had a winner.
Yeah, we did. We gave away our Chris Stapleton tickets. First of the week, man.
Woo! Who was the winner, Fletch?
Old Jeremy.
Jeremy! Congratulations, buddy.
All right. So for anybody who is uninitiated, Jeremy is probably one of our longest term listeners, probably from the jump. Mm-hmm. He's been on the text line and definitely calls in when there's cool prizes. So
he sent us a GD Christmas card, man.
We did. That was very sweet of you, Jeremy. We're very excited for you. He's going to probably take his wife out to Chris Stapleton. It's going to be a big show in March at Petco Park, livenation.com for more ticket and information there. But be listening to Big Rich, TD, and Fletch all week long. We're going to be doing it the same way every day. You're going to need to listen for a code word, and then we're going to give you the time to call. You call in with the code word, you win the Chris Stapleton tickets.
We'll have Conky generate the code word, and then they'll have to guess the code word, and then that will be the no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Conky's dead.
Conky, we took him out back behind the garage, behind the old woodshed.
We old yellered him.
Mm-hmm.
So sad.
Poor Conky. Dirty word generator. That was what we did.
That was a great bit.
We did that on Wednesday. Yeah. We might bring it back eventually.
I mean, maybe. Maybe. We got this Pocky One Chip Challenge tomorrow, which
not looking forward.
Yeah,
have you guys started playing the mental game of how you're going to do it?
No,
it was just a mental game. I'm going to put it in my mouth and chew it up and swallow it.
I think I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible with the actual eating of it.
I think you're thinking way too into it. Of course, that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're going to be wearing gloves, right?
If you want,
I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, I'm going to bring gloves.
Okay,
yeah.
And then I'm going to break it into like 3 pieces and just put all 3 in my mouth, and then chew like the devil, and then swallow as quickly as possible, and then just deal with what comes after.
Wow. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to taste good, so I'm just going to put the chip in my mouth and eat it like a normal chip.
Out of all of us, I feel like we're gonna have to keep an eagle eye on Fletch. Like
I might die.
An eagle eye on Fletch. Like I'm worried about him dying, but then B, I'm also worried about him cheating.
That's what I'm worried about.
Like, yeah, dude, you've bailed on all of the hard physical challenges that we've done throughout the history of this show.
And if I ate one more hot dog during 999, I was gonna puke all over the place.
That was the point of doing the 999 to see someone puke. You robbed us of glory.
At inning 6.
Yeah. And then the hardwood and balls classic. I mean, you finished the game, but barely.
I played better in the second game than I did in the first.
That's actually true. You made a couple more shots.
Not all heroes wear capes, folks.
Yeah, for the bottom of the barrel, we have a very special tribute to an influencer.
Some heroes have wings. Lele Pons, is that her name?
Yeah.
I was not aware of her until today.
She's an IG influencer. She's on the gram. And
while she was filming on the gram on the beach in a bikini top, a seagull swooped down, untied it.
What?
And it just flipped open.
Yeah, it's
so
it's there.
Yeah,
it's right there. Yeah, here, I'll show you the video.
Yeah, hang on. Wait for it.
Is this seagull going into the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I believe so.
Here, check this out.
Look at all right, seagull. She's on the beach. Seagull's above her, swoops down, and it happened. So let it be a lesson. What a G.
There's like 50 seagulls. One of them had the wherewithal to do what was right for humanity.
You just picture the seagulls just like, for the boys! Just dive bombs in.
Also, Christina Ricci last night at the Emmy Awards, she was wearing like this black latex dress, and she said, I had to lube my entire body.
You're darn right you did. Thank you to Dr. David Chow. Thank you to all the roadies, the dogs, the hangers, the bangers. We'll see you guys tomorrow when we eat the Pocky One Chip Challenge.
Oh, God.
Is that at 7:30? What
I don't know.
It was 8 o'clock probably.
We ran out of
maybe
shot.
later in the show than earlier.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you tomorrow.